Kanye West has been involved in many beefs over the course of his career. From rappers to singers to apparel companies, Ye has had a plethora of beefs. So today, we uncover the many beefs of Kanye West. In the mid-1990s, a young Kanye West was trying to get his foot in the door of the music industry. Ye, being an incredibly talented producer, began producing tracks offering his beats to several artists, mainly locally in Chicago. As Ye was producing for more and more artists, he would establish his own company to forward the revenue from his production work called Conman Productions. In early 1999, Foxy Brown dropped her debut album, China Doll, to which Kanye produced the third track called My Life. Foxy Brown was a Def Jam artist at the time, and this album had features from other Def Jam artists like DMX and Jay-Z. As Ye was seeking recognition, Jay-Z's Rockefeller artist Beanie Sigel was gearing up to drop his debut studio album. On February 29th, 2000, Beanie Sigel would drop his debut studio album, The Truth, and the self-titled track was produced by Kanye West. It has been said that Kanye was actively trying to get the attention of Jay-Z, and that's exactly what he did, because the founders of Rockefeller, Dame Dash, Kareem Burke, along with Jay-Z himself, would be impressed with Ye's production. After that, Kanye would be recruited to produce a track on the album The Dynasty Rock La Familia, which would be released on October 31st, 2000. Kanye produced the fifth track called This Can't Be Life with Jay-Z, Beanie Sigel, and Scarface. This is when Jay-Z and Kanye's friendship would officially begin. It has been said that when Kanye and Jay were in the studio recording the track This Can't Be Life, Ye was so intimidated to see Hove that he couldn't even say hello. After this, Kanye and Jay-Z would begin hanging out more, and Ye would continue showing Jay his production work. In 2001, Jay-Z was gearing up to drop his album The Blueprint. According to Kanye, he played Jay-Z some beats. The first beat he played to Jay would later be known as Heart of the City, followed by Never Change. Ye recalled that Jay-Z took his baseball cap off and said, quote, "Yo, put them joints on CD," and that's exactly what would end up happening. This would be Kanye's big breakthrough in the music industry. On September 11th, 2001, Jay-Z dropped his all-time classic album, The Blueprint, to which Kanye would produce the tracks Takeover, Heart of the City, Never Change, and Izzo. Jay-Z would become interested in signing Kanye West to Rockefeller as an in-house producer. Rockefeller viewed Kanye as just a producer, but Kanye had aspirations of being a rapper himself. The hip-hop scene in the early 2000s was very much dominated by gangsta rap, talking about street life, poverty, crime, and violence. Kanye West, on the other hand, was not rapping about those topics, so Jay-Z and Dame Dash were very hesitant on letting Kanye release a record, thinking it wouldn't do well. Jay-Z later stated, quote, "We all grew up street guys who had to do whatever we had to do to get by. Then there's Kanye, who to my knowledge has never hustled a day in his life." Ye was determined, so he didn't give up on his dreams yet. He started to call meetings with different labels. In 2001, Kanye had recorded a demo tape which would be dubbed as The Prerequisite, which featured unpolished, alternate, early versions of tracks that would end up being officially released later on his debut album. Essentially, it's a draft version of The College Dropout. Ye took his demo tape and would begin calling meetings with different labels due to Rockefeller not really believing in him as a rapper. One of those labels being Capitol Records, but he was denied an artist deal after someone convinced the A&R of Capitol, Joe Weinberg, that he wouldn't sell any records. Kanye would even go up to the Rockefeller Records office to demo his song All Falls Down, but to no prevail, as they still saw Ye as just a producer. Dame Dash saw how much Kanye wanted it, so he would eventually sign Kanye West to Rockefeller as a rapper in 2002 in order to keep Kanye on the rock as opposed to jumping ship. Dame Dash told MTV, quote, "People were on me like, what are you going to do after this? I personally signed Kanye, and I want to take credit for that because I feel good that I believed in him and I saw his vision." Jay-Z, on the other hand, was not yet convinced that Kanye would be a success as a rapper. On October 10th, 2002, Jay-Z released the lead single for his upcoming double album, The Blueprint 2, The Gift and the Curse, a track called '03 Bonnie and Clyde featuring Beyonce. Kanye produced the track, and this song would end up peaking at number 4 on the Billboard, so this was just yet another hit that Ye had produced for The Rock. At this point, Ye had made several hits and all-time classics for Rockefeller. Kanye would release more mixtapes like Get Well Soon in December 2002, which was after Kanye's fatal car accident just months prior in October. Kanye would begin to gain recognition after having the likes of Scarface, Ludacris, and others featured on the tape. This mixtape, Kanye debuted an early version of a track titled Through the Wire, which was Kanye making a rap record while his jaw was wired shut from the injuries suffered from his car accident. After this, Kanye would really start gaining a ton of traction. He would then announce that he was gearing up to drop his debut album, The College Dropout, which had been in the works since 1999. The College Dropout was scheduled for an August 2003 release. The album would eventually be pushed, and instead, in August 2003, Kanye dropped a mixtape called I'm Good, which you could see on the back of the cover featured a teaser for the album that said August 2003. The album was delayed due to Kanye being a perfectionist, wanting to perfect the album, and would eventually be postponed on a couple of different occasions. The initial delay was until October 2003, then it was delayed to January 2004. In 2003, Kanye kept producing for Jay-Z, having producer credits on the tracks Encore and Lucifer from Jay-Z's The Black Album, and produced Ludacris's hit track Stand Up from his album Chicken and Beer. On September 30th, 2003, Kanye West dropped his debut solo single, Through the Wire, which would be very successful, peaking at number 15 on the Billboard, and the track was received extremely well. Kanye followed up with his second single on November 10th, 2003, a track he made with Twista called Slow Jams featuring Jamie Foxx. This track was even more successful, peaking at number 1 on the Billboard, which would be Kanye's first track to reach number 1. On February 10th, 2004, Kanye West dropped his debut album, The College Dropout, which would be a massive success, selling 441,000 copies in the first week, debuting at number 2 on the Billboard charts. Kanye West seemingly put the world on notice with this album. This album was also under the Def Jam banner because Ye also inked a deal with Def Jam along the lines. I bring this up because later in that same year, Jay-Z would be named the president and CEO of Def Jam, essentially making Jay-Z Kanye's boss. On this album was a track called Last Call. At the end of the track, Kanye would detail how he was viewed as just a producer and not a rapper. Then he would detail his relationship with Jay-Z and even brought up some of their creative differences.
That day I came and I tracked the beat and I got to meet Jay-Z and he said, "Oh, you a real soulful dude."
In 2004, Kanye would launch his own label called Good Music in a joint venture with Sony BMG. After this, Kanye would go on to have a very successful sophomore with the release of his album Late Registration in 2005. September 11, 2007, Kanye West dropped his third album, Graduation, which would sell an astonishing 957,000 copies in the first week and would be the catalyst to the end of 50 Cent's run. On this album was a track called Big Brother, and this track was fully dedicated to none other than Jay-Z. Kanye would go into the ups and downs of his relationship with Jay-Z. First, he would start by praising Jay.
It's the hard knock life tour, sell out, picture us in the mall, copping iceberg and yell out jigga.
On the second verse, Ye would change his pace and would start taking credit for Jay's album The Blueprint and would go into how he eventually became bigger than Jay-Z.
Around the same time of that Blueprint 1, and these beats in my pocket was that Blueprint form.
The third verse was a look into how their relationship would become competitive, and Ye would even claim that Jay-Z copied him for doing a track with Chris Martin of Coldplay. On Kingdom Come, Jay-Z has a track with Chris Martin called Beach Chair. Jay-Z's track with Chris Martin came out almost a full year before Ye's track with Chris Martin, but Homecoming was actually recorded in February of 2006, which was 9 months before Kingdom Come.
I told Jay I did a song with Coldplay. Next thing I know, he got a song with Coldplay.
After the release of Graduation, word began spreading about Big Brother being about Jay-Z. The next month, on October 11, 2007, Jay-Z sat down with AllHipHop.com to speak on Ye's track Big Brother, where Jay would rebuttal some of Kanye's claims on the track. First, Jay responded to Kanye saying that Hov didn't give him free tickets to his quote-unquote final performance ever in November 2003, which would be dubbed as Fade to Black, live from MSG. Jay-Z would claim that he did in fact give Kanye 4 free tickets to the show, but Ye insisted on wanting 6 tickets. Quote, "We know everybody sees things differently. You would think he didn't get any tickets. He got 4 tickets. He wanted 6. It's true. It's really true. He wanted 2 more tickets, but if you heard that, you'd be like, damn, them dudes ain't give the dude no tickets. Come on." Then Jay-Z would respond to Kanye's claims about Hov copying him for doing a track with Chris Martin from Coldplay. Jay would claim that he actually introduced Kanye to Chris Martin. "With Coldplay, I introduced him. I gave him the number, I made the song happen. I did that. It's great though, because it's his truth. That's what's brilliant about him. It wasn't no bullshit. It was the way he felt." Jay-Z was also reportedly pleased with the track and saw it as a, quote, fair portrayal from a little brother's perspective, and admitted that Rockefeller is tough love. DJ Toomp would recall Jay-Z's reaction to the track. Quote, "He said, 'Ha, that's how you feel?' And he loved it, bro. Next thing you know how that conversation went. He's sitting right at the mixer with me. He's like, 'Hey man, gotta link up. Let me know. We wanted to get up soon.' And next thing you know, he ordered up on the American Gangster album." A couple of months later, on November 6th, 2007, Jay-Z dropped his album American Gangster, and on the self-titled track, he would name drop Kanye while referencing Ye's tracks Stronger, All Falls Down, Through the Wire, and Touch the Sky.
What don't kill me makes me stronger than before. So, here we go, and I'm a domino. When it all falls down, I'm like Kanye's choke.
The next year, in April of 2008, Jay-Z and Beyonce would officially get married in a secret ceremony. Later that year, on September 13th, 2008, Beyonce released her song Single Ladies, which would be seen as sort of an announcement of their secret marriage. The next summer, on June 23rd, 2009, Jay-Z would drop the first single for the Blueprint 3, a track called DOA, Death of Autotune. Before making this track, Kanye and Jay-Z had recorded a track with Autotune, but when Kanye heard the instrumental, he thought about making an anti-Autotune song. They would then come up with the concept for DOA and scrapped every track on Blueprint 3 that uses Autotune. This comes months after Kanye dropped his album 808s and Heartbreak, which Ye predominantly used Autotune on. On July 16th, 2009, Jay-Z did an interview with Billboard where he said that Kanye inspired his track DOA. He actually sparked the idea. When he heard the beat, he said, "Man, this is just so hard. This has to be against everything. No Autotune, none of that type of stuff." He didn't know what I was going to do or where I was going to take it, but it was actually his fault. On September 8th, 2009, Jay-Z dropped his album The Blueprint 3, and on the track A Star Is Born, he would reference how Kanye sold 1 million copies of his album Graduation in the first week. Ye sold 957,000 copies, not 1 million, but close enough, I guess.
Wayne to the milli, 50 to the milli, Ye too.
Kanye also co-produced this song, as well as a couple of other tracks on the album. The next week, on September 13th, 2009, the 2009 MTV VMAs was live from New York City at the Radio City Music Hall. Taylor Swift would win the award for Best Female Video. And one of the nominations that she beat to win that award was the video for Beyonce's song, Single Ladies. In a Hennessy-induced state, Kanye infamously took to stage to take the microphone from Taylor Swift, then proceeded to deliver a speech saying that Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time. Now, in Kanye's eyes, he was defending Hov's wife, but in reality, Beyonce was mortified by Kanye's actions. It was later revealed that Beyonce and Taylor Swift both cried when they got backstage. Later that night, Beyonce would win Video of the Year for Single Ladies and decided to give her acceptance speech to Taylor Swift. Jay-Z and Kanye would remain on good terms in the years following this incident, with Jay-Z being featured on Ye's track Monster from his 2010 album My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Beyonce would be featured on the iTunes bonus track See Me Now. The next year, on August 8, 2011, Jay-Z and Kanye West would drop their collaboration album Watch the Throne. The two would go on tour for the album, which began in October 2011, stretching all the way to June 2012. The tour was originally set at 23 shows, but would extend to 34 performances due to heavy demand for tickets. This tour would gross a whopping $75.4 million. It would sadly be after this tour that the true toxicity of their relationship would begin going public. On January 15th, 2013, Justin Timberlake would drop his track Suit and Tie, featuring Jay-Z. The next month, on February 23rd, 2013, Kanye West was performing in London, where he would go on a rant on stage, dissing Jay-Z, saying that he wasn't feeling that Suit and Tie song with Justin Timberlake.
Remind me why the Grammys could suck my Remind me again who's the original Superfly. And I got love with Hov, but I ain't with that suit and tie.
Kanye and Jay-Z would both drop solo projects in the summer of 2013, starting with Kanye's album Yeezus on June 18th, 2013. On July 4th, 2013, Jay-Z dropped his album Magna Carta Holy Grail. Kanye would completely ignore Jay-Z's album release, not mentioning it at all, instead tweeting about a movie called Pacific Rim. 10 days later, Jay-Z did an interview with Zane Lowe where he revealed that he had a 4-day-long argument with Kanye over 2 tracks from Magna Carta. The 2 tracks were Holy Grail and Oceans. After wrapping up Watch the Throne, Jay-Z made those 2 tracks, and after he played them for Kanye, that's when the argument occurred, when Ye wanted them to be on Watch the Throne, to which Jay-Z refused. There were no lyrics on Holy Grail, and I recorded Oceans, and I played those records for Kanye, and he was like, no, those have to go on Watch the Throne. So we spent 4 days arguing about those records, and I was explaining to him why it wasn't right for this project, and I had a whole idea for making this album called Magna Carta. The Holy Grail part of the name came after. The next year, in May of 2014, Kanye would get married to Kim Kardashian. Rumors would begin to swirl if there's tensions between Ye and Hov, because Jay-Z and Beyonce did not attend their wedding ceremony, with it even being rumored that Jay-Z turned down the offer to be Kanye's best man at the wedding. The reason they didn't show up was that Jay was upset that the wedding was being aired as a part of Kim's reality show. On Jay and Beyonce's 2018 track, Friends, Jay claimed that he did not attend the wedding due to his marital issues with Beyonce at the time.
I ain't gonna nobody nothing, and me and my wife beefing.
Beyonce would take to Instagram to post a photo of Kanye, Kim, and their child, Northwest, wishing them a lifetime of unconditional love. A couple of months later, on July 20th, 2014, Kanye did an interview with GQ, where he would speak on Jay-Z and Beyonce not showing up to their wedding. All that, I wouldn't even speak on. It doesn't even matter to me whatsoever who would show up, because the most important person to show up there, to me, was Kim, and that's all that matters to me. Now this proved to be false, that it didn't bother Kanye whatsoever, because later in 2018, during an interview with Charlemagne the God, Ye revealed that Jay-Z not showing up to his wedding actually hurt him. "I was hurt about them not coming to the wedding. I understand they were going through some things, but if it's your family, you're not going to miss a wedding." This would serve as the beginning of the fallout, but on the surface, all seemed well, as next year in 2015, Jay-Z would launch his newly purchased streaming service called Tidal. A bunch of celebrities were at the launch, including Kanye West himself. On February 14th, 2016, Kanye dropped his album The Life of Pablo, which would launch exclusively on Tidal. After the release of the album, Tidal would become the most downloaded app in the world, ranking in a reported 250 million streams in the first 10 days. Kanye would then put out some tweets suggesting that Tidal would be the only way you could listen to The Life of Pablo. Then it was revealed that the version of The Life of Pablo that was released on Tidal was not the final version of the project. He then dropped the singles Famous and I Love Kanye to Apple Music and Spotify. On April 1st, 2016, Kanye officially released the final version of The Life of Pablo to other streaming services like Apple Music, Spotify, and Google Play. Kanye West and Tidal would be slapped with a lawsuit for falsely advertising that the album would exclusively be on Tidal, when in fact it ended up on other streaming services months later. This lawsuit would eventually be settled years later in 2019. On June 4th, 2016, Kanye West dropped his track Saint Pablo. On this track, Kanye samples Jay-Z's track Where I'm From, and he mentions Jay-Z as well. At the end of the second verse, he says that he would have signed a $100 million deal with Apple and would have given Jay-Z $20 million out of that to make up for going against Tidal and signing a deal with Apple Music.
I would've took 100 million and gave 20 to Hov. I heard it's the way they did it when we only had the stove.
The next line, he says it's better that he didn't sign with Apple and rather stuck with Jay-Z and Tidal.
But it's better that I stayed at home with my folks, cause if Jay a billionaire, then I'ma never go broke.
The next month, on July 30th, 2016, Kanye took to Twitter to call out Apple, telling them to buy Tidal from Jay-Z. Quote, "Apple, give Jay his check for Tidal now, and stop trying to act like you Steve." It would be in October of 2016 that Kanye and Jay-Z's relationship would start to implode. On October 3rd, 2016, Kim Kardashian was in Paris at her hotel room. At around 2:56 a.m., two men rushed into the hotel room, tied her up, and robbed millions of dollars worth of jewelry. Story goes that when Kim posted a photo of her wearing her $4 million 20-carat engagement ring to social media, that's when the robbers targeted her. Kanye was performing when he was informed of the robbery, leading him to leave the show mid-performance.
I'm sorry, there's a family emergency. I have to stop the show. Wait, what is out?
This incident would definitely affect the mental health of not only Kim, but also Kanye, as he would begin going on crazy rants on stage during the St. Pablo tour. On October 20th, 2016, during a show in Seattle at the Key Arena, Kanye would go on a rant, airing his grievances about his relationship with Jay-Z. Kanye wanted Jay-Z to stop by his house rather than calling him, asking him how he's feeling after the robbery.
Call me after the robbery. You say how you feeling. You want to know how I'm feeling? Come by the house. Bring the kids by the house. Like we brothers. Let's sit down.
2 days later, on October 22nd, 2016, Rockefeller co-founder Kareem Burke was at his Reasonable Doubt 20-year anniversary pop-up, where he would speak on Kanye's recent onstage rant. I was shocked to hear what Kanye said on stage. There was never anything rumbling. So when you hear these things in public, it's a little shocking. The last I saw West, he spoke really highly of Jay. I'm not sure about the relationship at this point. I spoke to Jay after Kanye's rant, and we're both just like, we miss the old Kanye. From what I know of Kanye, he's usually really honest. So it sounds like something he's going through right now. He may say something like that, and then 3 weeks later, he may be back to, that's my brother. But at this point, with everybody's career, we're a little too old for rap beef. The next month, on November 19th, 2016, at a stop in Sacramento, California on his St. Pablo tour, Kanye infamously performed 3 songs, then he went on a rant before leaving the venue. Kanye would rant on Beyonce, saying that she wouldn't perform unless she won Video of the Year over himself and Drake's song Hotline Bling. Then Ye ranted on Jay-Z, saying that Jay still didn't call him. Then he asked Hov not to send killers at his head.
Jay-Z called me, bro. You still ain't called me. Jay-Z called me. Hey, bro. Jay-Z, I know you got killers. Please don't send them at my head.
Kanye West would then cancel the remainder of his tour before being hospitalized for a psychiatric emergency. The next summer, on June 30th, 2017, Jay-Z dropped his album 444, and on the track Kill Jay-Z, Hov had some words for Kanye in response to his recent rants on his St. Pablo tour. He starts off by saying that he doesn't like Ye's new attitude.
I know people backstab you, I felt that too, but this everybody attitude ain't natural.
Then saying that he was hurt by Ye's rant because he just fronted Kanye $20 million for a tour contract. Jay-Z is talking to himself when he says the word you throughout the song. Jay basically isn't speaking directly to Kanye here, but rather speaking to himself, thinking out loud about Ye's recent actions.
Cause you did cool by Ye. You gave him 20 million without blinking. He gave you 20 minutes on stage. What was he thinking?
Kanye would later rebuttal Jay's claims in his interview with Charlamagne the God, saying that it's normal to give him that kind of money for a tour contract when Roc Nation was managing him.
So you feel like Jay was tossing you money as opposed to giving you the information? Because you know the infamous line on 444 is, you know, I gave Kanye 20 mil without thinking. He gave me 20 minutes on stage. You know, what was he thinking? Oh, I think it was 20 mil without blinking, whatever it was. He gave you $20 million.
That concept that you gave me, that he gave me the money, that's what frustrated me, because actually the money he got from Live Nation. Roc Nation was managing me at the time. That's something normal that someone would give someone a touring deal. Mm-hmm. It was a touring deal.
Just days after dropping 444, on July 2nd, 2017, it was reported that Kanye has parted ways with Tidal over an apparent money dispute. Kanye even threatened to sue the company as he alleged that he was owed more than $3 million. The next month, in August 2017, Jay-Z sat down with Elliott Wilson and B. Dot for an interview with the Rap Radar. During this interview, he discussed his track Kill Jay-Z and his references to Kanye, and also spoke about Kanye's rants towards him and Beyonce.
That's Kanye's decision. It's always been his decision. You know, I've never held anybody back in my life from doing anything. I've never. If you can't name one time like I hold people back from what. God made Big Brother. I put it out on my album, my label. I might have been the executive producer of that album. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, I've always given people, I've always allowed people the freedom. Ask anybody who worked. Ask J. Cole, ask Vic Mensa. I've never meddled in people's project. Right. That don't mean anything to me. If Kanye makes a record, then he makes a record, then we'll deal with that from there. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Later that year, on November 30th, 2017, Jay-Z sat down with Dean Backwit for an interview with the New York Times, where he would speak on his relationship with Kanye, saying that he loves Kanye, calling him his brother, and says that they're always going to be good.
Talk about Kanye West and your relationship with him, which you alluded to a little bit in the album. When's the last time you talked to him?
I hate Kanye the other day, just tell him that he's my brother. I love Kanye. I do. It's a complicated relationship with us. Kanye came into this business on my label. So I've always been like his big brother. And we're both entertainers. Mm-hmm. So always been like a little underlying competition there with your big brother there. And we both love and respect each other's art too. So it's like everyone wants to be the greatest in the world.
The next year, in 2018, Kanye sat down with Charlamagne the God for an interview where he revealed that he and Jay-Z are on good terms and have been in communications.
You know, where you and Jay at now?
We good. You know, we tweeting, we texting each other as positive energy.
Have y'all seen each other?
I haven't seen him, but I can feel him.
All right.
On September 20th, 2018, Kanye West took to IG to post a photo of Jay and Beyonce, calling them family, in the caption. That same month, Kanye would appear on SNL wearing a red MAGA hat in support of then-President of the United States, Donald Trump, going on a rant on stage. After this, it was reported by news outlets that Beyonce and Jay-Z had severed ties with Ye and Kim over his Donald Trump rant. This comes from a feud that actually went public between Trump and Jay-Z, also stemming from Jay-Z and Beyonce showing public support for Hillary Clinton during her presidential run against Trump in 2016. On November 30th, 2018, Meek Mill dropped his album Championships, and on this album is a track called What's Free, featuring Rick Ross and Jay-Z. On this verse, it's speculated that Jay-Z threw shots at Kanye, when Jay-Z mentioned Kanye wearing the red Trump hat, but then tells the media not to pit them against each other, similar to what they did to Prince and Michael Jackson.
No red hat, though Michael and Prince me and Ye.
After this, rumors began circulating about this line, with some speculating that it was a diss, so Jay-Z would take to Twitter that same day to clarify that it was not a diss, saying, quote, "The line clearly meant don't pit me against my brothers, no matter what our differences are, the red hat." Jay-Z is debunking the rumors I mentioned earlier that Jay and Beyonce severed ties with Kim and Ye over the Trump rant. Kanye would reply to the tweet, simply teasing Watch the Throne 2. The next year, in December 2019, Jay-Z and Kanye West would reunite at Diddy's 50th birthday party for the first time in several years. Fast forward to summer of 2021, Kanye West was rolling out his next album called Donda. On July 22nd, 2021, Kanye hosted a listening party for the album at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. Ye would preview a track called Jail, which features Jay-Z, marking the reunion of The Throne on a song for the first time in several years. On November 4th, 2021, Kanye West would appear on Drink Champs for the first time. During the interview, he spoke on Jay-Z's album The Blueprint and called fellow producer Just Blaze, who also worked on the album, a copycat.
So Swiss Beats or Just Blaze?
Well, Swiss Beats definitely, because Just Blaze is a copycat. You know, he get credit for the blueprint, and I did the first half of the blueprint, and he just copied my half and I mean, look where I'm at today. Look where he at today. So that should show you.
The next day, Jay-Z was on a Twitter space to talk about the film called The Harder They Fall. During this, he was asked about Kanye's Drink Champs interview and said that he disagrees with Kanye's take on Just Blaze, saying that it was unfair.
And I think the one thing I would say out of the, all the pieces I've seen is, maybe the Just Blaze thing was a bit unfair. Because if you're making an album, if you're creating an album, and the assignment is soul samples, everyone's coming with soul. It's not you trying to make a cohesive piece of music. I don't think anyone was copying off any, Bink has this problem, and I think everyone created for the project. The thing was, the baby was the blueprint. And I think everyone should be prized for what we created. It's in I don't know what you call that, the Library of Congress or something. It's something that we all should be proud of, and everyone should be prized for their contribution. I would say, and I don't think anyone was copying off anyone. I think Bink did what he brought to the table, and we all had the assignment and created this one body of work.
On that same Drink Champs interview, he was asked who he would pick as a CEO, Dame Dash or Jay-Z, and he would pick Dame over Jay-Z.
This is just on the CEO level. Jay or Dame? Just CEO.
Absolutely, 1,000% Dame Dash.
Oh, really? Okay. I need an explanation for this one.
Because Dame Dash the visionary.
Okay.
He the original black hipster. I'm the devil's worst nightmare. I'm Dame Dash with money. And I'm also Jay and Dame combined. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm still here. You know what I'm saying? Dame has the vision. You see it.
Fast forward a couple of years later, on December 15th, 2023, Kanye was at his Vultures album event in Las Vegas, where he would close out the event with an Instagram Live rant mentioning some names. Amongst those names was Jay-Z.
Questions. Everybody around me. Everybody around me tell me I can't wear. Can't tell me the color of my hat. Y'all can't tell me. I know Jay-Z back here like, oh, down now. I've been here for a year, man. They can't touch me. Why? Because God covered me.
After this, nothing else was said between the two, and it's unclear if these two will ever be as close as they once were. In the early 2000s, a kid from Cleveland named Scott had an interest in hip-hop. At the age of 15, he adopted his first rap name, Lil Cudi, which was inspired by Lil Wayne, which Cudi was a huge fan of. After obtaining his GED, after being expelled from high school, he began studying film at the University of Toledo, but would drop out after a year. His initial plan was to join the Navy, but would be denied due to having a juvenile police record from an arrest when he was 16. In 2005, Cudi would eventually move to the mecca of hip-hop, New York City, to pursue his music career with only $500 in his pocket and a demo tape. Cudi would move in with his uncle, who was an accomplished jazz drummer in the South Bronx. Cudi would begin working at various retail stores in Manhattan before being kicked out of his uncle's and having to find a new place. The parents of a producer and engineer from Brooklyn who frequently worked with Cudi named Dot the Genius would allow Cudi to move in with his family as long as he kept making music. From there, the two would begin working on music together for the next couple of years. In the year of 2006 is when Kid Cudi and Kanye West would officially meet for the first time at a Virgin Megastore while Cudi was browsing through CDs. Cudi would introduce himself to Kanye and even would ask him to sign him, to which Kanye politely refused.
I met Kanye like any other person as a fan, you know what I mean? And at Virgin Music Store, and I was looking at CDs that I couldn't buy, and and he was standing right next to me, looking at CDs
That he could buy.
And then that he could buy, and he had this exact chain on, and I remember seeing it, and like out of the corner of my eye it was like gleaming, and I was like, and I saw him, and I was like, oh my God, and I was like. Kanye West, you know, I had just moved to New York. I'm from Cleveland.
How many
we
years
don't
ago
see
was this?
celebrities unless it's like concert. And I remember me just going like, "How you doing? My name is Cudi." Well, actually, I said my name was Scott because I wasn't Kid Cudi yet. So I was like, "I'm Scott, man. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, man. I'm from the." And I remember him being like, "Hold on one second. Hey, man, I'm gonna call you right back." And him being like, "Yeah, so what's up?" Like getting off his phone, and I was just like. I'm from Cleveland and I do music and I really want to be signed. Can you sign me? Like I had no pitch. Like I was just this kid. I was like, could you just sign me? And he was like, man, I got so many artists right now, man, I'm trying to deal with right now. He's like, and unless you want some Biggie and Tupac type stuff or whatever. And I was like, nah. I'm not that good, but I have the potential for greatness. And I remember saying that. And he was just like, oh man, well, I just got so much going on though, man. I was like, man, well, you definitely gonna see me again, man. He was like, what you say your name was again? I was like, Scott, but my rap name is Kid Cudi, you know? So be checking for me.
Cudi would eventually land a job at a vape store where he would later run into Kanye once again, this time offering him some of his music, to which Kanye would politely refuse once again. During his time in New York, he was making music with Dot the Genius and would make more connections in the music industry. One of those connections was a man named Patrick Reynolds, aka Plain Pat. Plain Pat is an executive, producer, DJ, and A&R. Ironically enough, Plain Pat was Kanye's A&R, and he even hosted Ye's mixtape, Can't Tell Me Nothing, to build anticipation for Kanye's album Graduation. In November of 2007, Kid Cudi would release his first ever single on his MySpace page, a track titled Day and Night, which was produced by Dot the Genius and himself. Legendary producer Emile Hain would discover Kid Cudi through MySpace after he posted this track, so Hain and Plain Pat would begin co-managing Kid Cudi. Cudi would meet a man named A-Trak, who was the president of record label Fool's Gold, who would sign Cudi to the label for the official release of Day and Night. Kid Cudi met A-Trak at the premiere video release party for Kanye's track Stronger, where he would give A-Trak a copy of the track Day and Night. On February 5th, 2008, Kid Cudi would officially release Day and Night as a single. The track would become a smash hit, peaking at number 3 on the Billboard charts. This track would make huge waves, and of course, would catch the attention of Kanye West. Plain Pat would then give Kanye a copy of Kid Cudi's upcoming debut mixtape called A Kid Named Cudi. On July 17th, 2008, Kid Cudi would officially drop this mixtape. On the night of the release, Kid Cudi had a release party at the Red Bull Space on 40 Thompson Street in New York City. Kanye West would pop out at the release party, and this is when their friendship would officially begin. Following this, Kanye would call on Kid Cudi to work with him on Jay-Z's upcoming album, Blueprint 3, where Kid Cudi did the hook on the track Already Home. Kanye and Cudi would then begin working on Kanye's next album, 808s and Heartbreak. This album, Ye had a very different approach. After the death of his mother, Donda West, in late 2007, and ending his engagement with his then fiancée, Alexis, Kanye felt he couldn't express his emotions by simply rapping. Kanye wanted to make a pop album, getting inspiration from 80s synth pop and electro pop. Kanye would call Cudi, inviting him to Hawaii to work on the project. Kanye would credit Cudi for helping create the stark and brooding sound of the album. Cudi would co-write several tracks on 808s and Heartbreak, including the hook on the smash hit Heartless, the track RoboCop, and Paranoid. Cudi is believed to have directly influenced the album's sound. Later that year, Kanye would officially sign Kid Cudi to Good Music. On November 24th, 2008, Kanye West would drop his fourth album, 808s and Heartbreak, which would sell over 450,000 copies in the first week. This album at first would receive mixed responses amongst listeners because it was very experimental for Kanye and new at the time. Eventually, this album would be appreciated and would impact hip-hop forever, inspiring many artists and their sound in the following years. The next year, in 2009, Kid Cudi was gearing up for the release of his debut album, Man on the Moon, End of Day, with the lead single being his smash hit, Day and Night. On February 19th, 2009, Kid Cudi appeared on BET's 106 and Park with Kanye West to debut the music video for Day and Night. During the show, Cudi and Kanye would trade some bars, showcasing their competitive relationship. A couple of months later, Kanye West would appear on the cover for the April 2009 edition of the Complex magazine, and he sat down for an interview. During the interview, he would speak on Kid Cudi and his influence on his recent album, 808s and Heartbreak. Me and Cudi are the originators of the style, kinda like what Alexander McQueen is to fashion. Everything else is just Zara and H&M. The next month, on May 21st, 2009, Kid Cudi sat down with Complex for an interview where he would say that he wants to be bigger than Kanye. The interviewer asked him what his expectations are for his career and if he thinks he can be as big as Kanye or Lil Wayne. Cudi replied saying, "My whole thing is to not be as big as Kanye or Lil Wayne, but to be bigger. It's all about progression. If I just set the goal to want to be like Kanye and Lil Wayne, that's setting my to a limit, and it's selling myself short. I'm pretty sure when Kanye was aspiring to do music, he wasn't like, I want to be as big as Jay. He was like, nah, I want to be bigger than Jay. It's not necessarily saying that you are better than them. It's just setting that bar. If I never am better than Kanye in my brain, I'm always going to try to be, forever and ever, until the day I die. I don't want this to get misquoted that I'm trying to be better than Kanye or anything like that. It's just a mental memo in my brain to keep me turbocharged, to accelerate my to make me think on grand scales. To tell you the truth, no one can catch up to Kanye. That motherfucker is gone. It's just like a mother saying that he wants to be a god amongst men. It's never gonna happen, but it's just you raising the bar. You know what I mean? The next month, on June 9th, 2009, Kid Cudi dropped the second single for the album, Make Her Say. Kanye West would be featured and produce the track. Later that year, on September 15th, 2009, Kid Cudi dropped his debut studio album, Man on the Moon, End of Day. Kanye West would be listed as a co-executive producer as well as a co-writer and co-producer of the track Sky Might Fall. The next year, on August 17th, 2010, Kid Cudi dropped the lead single called Erase Me for his upcoming album Man on the Moon 2, The Legend of Mr. Rager. Kanye West would be featured on the track. In late August, Kanye would begin a new series called Good Fridays, where he would drop a new track every Friday on his website to build anticipation for his upcoming album, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. On September 10th, 2010, Ye dropped his track Good Friday, to which Kid Cudi would make an appearance on the track, followed by the track Christian Dior Denim Flow on October 1st, which also featured Kid Cudi. The final track to feature Cudi in the Good Friday series was the track The Joy on October 29th, which would eventually be included as a bonus track on Watch the Throne. That same month, in October 2010, Kanye was filming his short film Runaway, where he would hold a 2.5-hour Q&A, and when he was asked about his musical preferences, he would say that Kid Cudi is his favorite artist. Kid Cudi is my favorite artist. If I can make music like someone, I'd like to make music like him. I like that emotion, really heartfelt. The next month, on November 22nd, 2010, Kanye dropped his album My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, to which Cudi would be featured on the track Gorgeous and an uncredited appearance on the track All of the Lights. The next year, on February 19th, 2011, the music video for All of the Lights would be released, to which Kid Cudi would appear in the video. Fast forward the next year to February 2012, both Kanye West and Kid Cudi would receive a Grammy for the track All of the Lights. On May 23rd, 2012, Kanye premiered his film Cruel Summer at the Cannes Film Festival. Kid Cudi would star in the film. In August of 2012, Good Music would be featured on the cover of the August/September edition of the Complex magazine. The whole Good Music crew would do an interview for the cover story except for Kanye, who did not participate. During this interview, Kid Cudi would give his feelings about working with everyone on Good Music and what it means to him. With all due respect to what these guys said, I think we're missing the main point, which is that we represent honesty in all aspects. Ain't nobody fake, ain't nobody phony. Dudes are who they are. Everybody is who they are around each other. We're real. I'm not another Cruz. I don't know how other dudes live, but I know right here, that's one of the main things we represent. Honesty and realness. You could just hear it in the music. This ain't no cookie cutter shit. They were then asked what it means to have Kanye involved in the production of their album, to which Cudi would say, he knows what he's talking about. It's crazy how insanely smart he is. It's frustrating at times. When I'm playing him stuff, he usually likes it. But I remember there was a time when I played him something and he was like, turn it off. That was terrible. On September 14th, 2012, Kanye and Good Music dropped their collaborative album, Cruel Summer. Kid Cudi would barely appear on the album. He was featured on the track Creepers, but according to Cudi, that track was from a couple of years ago while he was working on Man of the Moon 2, and he did the background vocals on the track The Morning. The next year, on January 15th, 2013, Kid Cudi would be featured on the Complex magazine cover where he would sit down with them for an interview. During this interview, he was asked if he was disappointed with only having one feature on Cruel Summer, to which he responded saying, I was a little disappointed, but Kanye had a vision for that. Whether that vision didn't include much of me, I was bummed because I could have contributed. I'm a good asset, but he had a different vision. Everyone that was showcased on the album did their thing. They needed that at the time. The energy was on some hip hop shit. I was on Wizard doing my rock shit, but I'm not tripping. Creepers was a jam. I was holding on to for a while. It was waiting for that perfect platform, and it happened to be great for that album. It would have been dope to have more. I want to apologize to the fans for not having more, but oh, it ain't my fault. A couple of months later, on April 2nd, 2013, Kid Cudi did an interview with Power 106 LA where he would reveal that he is no longer with Good Music.
I am announcing that I'm no longer on Good Music, and this is something that no one knows really, but
Really? Wait.
I'm no longer on Good Music. This is kind of like something that
You got tired of Kanye.
No, me and Kanye actually, and I could never get tired of Kanye. But we were talking on the phone the other day, and these are things I've been wanting to talk to him about me starting my own direction. And he got it because, he's trying to start his new path and trying new things as an artist. And, he was just like, man, I feel you. He was like, well, it's cool, whatever.
The rumor we heard was that you were going to start gooder music.
Gooder music.
No. It's just I want to focus on Wicked Awesome. I want to focus on Chip, and that's it. Like, I don't want to have like a full label of artists. I just want to work on Chip and keep my sound going on the Cudi train.
A couple of weeks later, on April 16th, 2013, Kid Cudi dropped his album Indie Cud, which would mark his final album on Good Music and had no appearance from Kanye. That summer, on June 18th, 2013, Kanye dropped his album Yeezus, to which Kid Cudi would be featured on the track Guilt Trip, performing the interlude. This track was originally intended to appear on Watch the Throne and had a Jay-Z verse, but Kanye wanted to save it. Fast forward to February 27th, 2014, Kid Cudi did an interview with Complex where he would speak on his appearance on the track Guilt Trip on Yeezus, where he would claim that he had no idea that he was going to appear on the track. The vocal that I did on that song was a couple of years old. I forgot which session it was, but it was just a reference. I discovered that I was on the song via Twitter. I saw kids hitting me up like, "Are you on Guilt Trip?" or saying "great job," and I'm like, what the f*** is everyone talking about? So I go on Twitter, and then I hear the song, and I'm like, okay, I know the beat, I know the song. Then I'm like, oh man, okay. Part of me was flattered, like, it's kind of cool that he thought of me. Then I started thinking about it more. It was like, why not call me and have me come in there and give it? Why underuse me? Why put 4 bars of vocals to coax my fans into thinking this is a legitimate Kid Cudi feature on this song, and it isn't. Same deal with Good Music album, the compilation. Had I not given Kanye Creepers, my only presence would have been on that one song that I can't even remember the title for, The Morning. I would have barely been on that album. It's weird. I don't know how to feel, but I would have much rather been off that song. I don't care to be on people's songs like that, unless it came from a legitimate session where we're all vibing and have an idea. So as you could tell, Kid Cudi did not seem happy about Ye putting him on the track without him knowing, and also he was unhappy with his lack of presence on the Good Music album Cruel Summer. After this, Cudi and Kanye would temporarily go their separate ways for the remainder of 2014 and 2015. In 2016 is when Kanye West and Kid Cudi would finally reunite. Kanye West was just days away from releasing his 7th album called Waves, which would later become The Life of Pablo. On February 11th, 2016, during the presentation of his Yeezy Season 3 clothing at Madison Square Garden in New York City, Kanye would have a listening party premiering an early version of The Life of Pablo. During this, Ye would preview a track we would later know as Father Stretch My Hands Part 1, with Kid Cudi performing the hook, and the two would be seen in the front row dancing to the song. Just days later, on February 14th, 2016, Kanye would officially release The Life of Pablo, which included the track Father Stretch My Hands Part 1 with Kid Cudi, marking the first time these two appeared on a track together in 3 years. Sadly, after this is when the first signs of real tensions between these two would begin to unfold. On September 14th, 2016, Kid Cudi took to Twitter to go on a rant about his quote-unquote haters in the industry. During this rant, he would name drop Drake and Kanye, where he would bring up Drake's ghostwriting allegations and even alluded that Kanye has ghostwriters as well. I need y'all to know I got so many haters within the industry, and these clowns know I'm about to crush their entire existence. Everyone thinks they're so great, talking top 5 and be having 30 people write songs for them. Let me tell you something, the days of fuckery are over. The fake ones won't be lasting too much longer. I'm the one they worry about because they know I don't give a fuck about the corny shit they do. All my youngins out here repping. ASAP Rocky and the whole ASAP family. Travis Scott, Super Duper Kyle, Audio Push, Hit Boy, etc. I see y'all. And all you jealous, chicken-hearted shits, I see you too. I am the culture. I kept silent because I don't ever want to come off like some angry hater. But today, not only do I feel fantastic, I'm feeling like taking over. I already have. My tweets apply to who they apply. Ye, Drake, whoever. These dudes don't give a fuck about me, and they ain't fucking with me. Dudes keep you close when they see how powerful you are by yourself, when they see your greatness. Out of fear, I've been loyal to those who haven't been to me, and that ends now. Now I'm your threat. Anybody got an issue with my words? I'm glad. If you feel me, don't be scared to use your voice. I was, for so long, out of blind loyalty. That same night, Kanye West was performing in Tampa on his St. Pablo tour, where he would respond to Kid Cudi on stage.
Kid Cudi, we two black men in a racist world. I wore the skinny jeans first. I got called names before you, bruh. Don't never mention my name in a bad manner. None of y'all. Kid Cudi, don't never mention your name. I birthed you. We all dealing with that emo all the time. Me, Pat, Don C. Don't never mention your name.
The next week, on September 20th, 2016, Kanye was performing in Houston on his St. Pablo tour, where he would once again talk about Kid Cudi. This time he would call Cudi his brother and the most influential artist of the past 10 years.
The most important artist in the past 10 years. Let's go, yeah! The most influential. And I hope he's doing well. I just want to take this time out to say, Kid Cudi is my brother and I hope he's doing well. The most influential artist in the past 10 years. And I hope he's doing well.
Following this, Kid Cudi would be checked into rehab for depression in early October. Cudi would check out of rehab in November, and on November 20th, 2016, during a stop in Sacramento on the St. Pablo tour, Kanye and Cudi would reunite and perform Father Stretch My Hands together. The next year, on July 27th, 2017, Kid Cudi, Kanye, and Plain Pat were seen leaving a studio in Los Angeles. On August 11th, 2017, Kanye and Kid Cudi would be photographed in Japan with Takashi Murakami, where he would thank them for coming to his studio. An anonymous source would then tell Page 6 that Kanye and Cudi are now working on a collab project. The source told Page 6, quote, "They're going to drop some crazy collaboration out of the blue. They're going to drop some surprise project on everybody. They're recording it now. Nobody knows what it is or what it sounds like. There are no professionals in the room. It's just Cudi, Kanye, and an engineer. They're recording together in Japan." Later that year, on November 4th, 2017, while Kid Cudi was performing in Chicago on his Passion, Pain, and Demon Slaying tour, he brought out Kanye West as the two performed Father Stretch My Hands Part 1. On February 18th, 2018, Kanye West and Kid Cudi would perform again, this time in LA at the Adidas NBA All-Star Weekend event. On April 19th, 2018, Kanye would take to Twitter to announce a joint album with himself and Kid Cudi called Kids See Ghosts. Me and Cudi album June 8th. It's called Kids See Ghosts. That's the name of our group. On June 1st, 2018, Kanye dropped his album Ye, to which Kid Cudi would make an uncredited appearance on the track Ghost Town, where he performed the hook. On June 6th, Kid Cudi would take to Twitter to reveal the cover art for Kids See Ghost, which was designed by Takashi Murakami, the same guy they were seen with in Japan, and the guy who designed the artwork for Kanye's album Graduation. 2 days later, on June 8th, 2018, Kid Cudi and Kanye West dropped their one and only collaboration album, Kids See Ghosts. Fast forward to January 31st, 2019, Kim Kardashian took to Twitter to wish Kid Cudi a happy birthday, sharing photos of Cudi with Kanye, Pete Davidson, and Timothée Chalamet having dinner at Nobu Malibu for Cudi's 35th birthday. Fast forward again to August 29th, 2021, Kanye West dropped his album Donda, and Kid Cudi would be featured on the tracks Moon and Remote Control Part 2. After this is when Kid Cudi and Kanye's friendship would completely implode. Just over a month after dropping Donda, in October of 2021, rumors began swirling that Kanye's now ex-wife Kim Kardashian was now in a relationship with Pete Davidson. Kanye would then start publicly dissing Pete Davidson on multiple occasions. Kid Cudi, being friends with Pete Davidson, would be the common denominator into their friendship falling apart. In November 2021, Kanye West appeared on Drink Champs, and when Nori asked him Travis Scott or Kid Cudi, he would pick Cudi and show his support for him.
Move on though. Travis Scott or Kid Cudi?
Kid Cudi, because Travis is a mix of me, Cudi, and Rocky.
Jesus. Okay.
In January of 2022, Kanye announced that he will be dropping his album Donda 2 in February. On February 12, 2022, Kanye West would take to Instagram to share a handwritten note saying that Kid Cudi will not be on Donda 2 due to his friendship with Pete Davidson. Just so everyone knows, Cudi will not be on Donda because he's friends with you-know-who. Kid Cudi would see this post, so he commented, responding to Ye, saying, quote, "Too bad I don't want to be on your album, you f***ing dinosaur. Everyone knows I've been the best thing about your albums since I met you. I'ma pray for you, brother." Kid Cudi would get pissed, so he would then take to Twitter to further call out Kanye. "We talked weeks ago about this. You're whack for flipping the script and posting this lie just for a look on the internet. You ain't no friend. Bye." Then another tweet saying, "God opens the door so the wrong people can exit your life." The next day, Kanye would take to Instagram to further call out Kid Cudi. First, he started off posting a photo of the Kanye West Civil War, with everyone that he says is siding with Pete Davidson, and he put Kid Cudi on Pete Davidson's side. Then posted a photo from Cudi's birthday dinner at Nobu in 2019, where he would cross out Pete Davidson and captioned it, "I just wanted my friend to have my back. The knife goes in deeper." Followed up with a photo of Cudi with the caption, "I would have never asked for the loyalty if it was never offered, and I found a cool picture cause I love Cudi and always will. But Donda 2 is about running back in that burning house. I respect not everyone gonna be ready for the smoke." Then another post saying, "I'm very community oriented. I love my friends, I love my family. The reason I asked Cudi to at the least speak to Skeet is because for years, Cudi always made it seem like it was me and him against everyone now that I'm fighting for my family. He not by my side. This is bigger than music." Followed up with more memes aimed at Pete Davidson and Kid Cudi. That same night, on February 13th, 2022, Kid Cudi attended the Super Bowl. When Cudi was leaving, he was interviewed by paparazzi, and when asked about Kanye, he would lunge at the cameraman.
Cudi, any worse from Kanye, man? Would you? All right. Leave me alone, man. Let's go.
2 days later, on February 15th, 2022, Kid Cudi would take to IG to ask God to maintain his sanity and help control his feeling of loneliness. "God, please watch over me and keep my mind sane. I could use it right now. To anyone who feels alone, I'm with you and I love you." Kanye would take to the comment section to show love to Cudi, saying, "Love you, family." A couple of months later, on April 19th, 2022, just days before Pusha T was dropping his album It's Almost Dry, news would spread that Cudi was set to appear on the album on a track alongside Kanye. Cudi took to Twitter to explain that despite being on a song with him, he is not cool with Kanye and that he did the record a year ago. Hey, so I know some of you heard about the song I got with Pusha. I did this song a year ago when I was still cool with Kanye. I am not cool with that man. He's not my friend. I only cleared the song for Pusha because that's my guy. This is the last song you will hear with me on with Kanye. That summer, Kanye West was set to headline Night 1 of Rolling Loud Miami on July 22nd. Just 5 days before, on July 17th, it was announced that Kanye had dropped out of Rolling Loud and will no longer be performing. It would then make the rounds that Kanye would be replaced with Kid Cudi, and after this made headlines, fans were pissed, so they demanded a refund. On July 22nd, Cudi would hit the stage for Night 1 of Rolling Loud Miami. During the performance, he would be booed heavily, and the crowd started throwing items at him, causing him to storm off the stage mid-performance.
Fucking leave. If I get hit with more thing, if I see one more thing on this fucking stage, I'm leaving. Don't f with me.
After Cudi walked off, Lil Durk would begin his set, and towards the end of his set, Durk would bring out none other than Kanye, which was definitely adding insult to Cudi. What made it even worse was that Ye performed Father Search My Hands Part 1. The next month, on August 17th, 2022, Kid Cudi would grace the cover of Esquire, where he would sit down for an interview. During the interview, he spoke on his relationship with Kanye West and spoke about their back and forth on social media. I've been on every one of that man's albums. He's only been on 2 of mine. That should tell you something. And don't think I didn't ask. Do you know how it feels to wake up one day, look at your social media, and you're trending because somebody's talking some shit about you? And then you got this person's trolls sending you messages on Instagram and Twitter, all in your comments? That pissed me off. That he had the power to with me that week. That he used his power to with me. That pissed me off. You with my mental health now, bro. I'm at a place in my life where I have zero tolerance for the wrong energies. I've watched so many people throughout the years that are close to him be burned by him doing some up, and then they turn around and forgive him, and there's no repercussions. You're back cool with this man. He does it over and over. I'm not one of your kids. I'm not Kim. It don't matter if I'm friends with Pete or not friends with Pete. None of this shit had anything to do with me. If you can't be a grown man and deal with that fact that you lost your woman, that's not my fucking problem. You need to own up to your shit like every man in this life has. I've lost women too, and I've had to own up to it. I don't need that in my life. I don't need it. I just want to clear that out for anybody that feels like Kanye made my career or made me who I am. He brought me on to do 808s. I thought that was really fucking awesome. I wanted to be a part of a family and saw good music as that opportunity. So I finally said yeah. Kanye West did not come and pluck me out of Applebee's or the Babe store. With all due respect, I'm not Drake, who's about to take a picture with him next week and be friends again, and their beef is squashed. That's not me. What I say, I mean. I will be done with you. It's gonna take a mother miracle for me and that man to be friends again. I don't see it happening. He gonna have to become a monk. The twisted thing is that I love him, but I love you so much that I can kick you the out of my life and be done with your ass, cause you are not good for me. On September 6th, 2022, amidst his beef with Adidas, he would take to IG to post a photo that he asked fans to edit of Cudi wearing a dress holding Adidas Vice President Daniel Cherry's hand. Fast forward a year later, on December 14th, 2023, Kanye and Ty Dolla $ign hosted a listening party for their upcoming album Vultures in Las Vegas. At the event, Cudi and Ye would reunite and hug it out, squashing the beef once and for all. A track for the album would surface called Gun to My Head, which saw Cudi being featured on the track handling the vocals. The next month, on January 18th, 2024, Kid Cudi sat down with Zane Lowe for an interview with Apple Music where he would describe his relationship with Kanye and how they squashed the beef due to Kanye sincerely apologizing to him.
The reason why we became cool again is because he apologized to me. And it was sincere. I was just like, wow, Kanye does not apologize to anybody. He doesn't say sorry to anyone. You know, that's my brother, man. I know he loves me, and there's just nothing like Kanye and Cudi, you know.
On March 15th, 2024, Kanye West and Ty Dolla $ign did an interview on Big Boy's Neighborhood, and during the interview, Kanye claimed that he invented every style of music for the past 20 years. He would also bring up the influence that his album 808s and Heartbreak had on many rappers.
And of this music game, I am, but not under Lucian. You're saying I invented every style of music of the past 20 years. I created the genre. I created weekend genre, Trav, Drake. You know, I'm going ahead and say, with all love, Future and Thug also, because the Auto-Tune album. 808s, if you think about it, no one think about it. Everybody think about Trav, Weekend, and Drake, but no one thinks about Future and Thug also, the Auto-Tune album. Now, everyone, they added what it was to it, but here's a new genre. It's called Making Your Own Money genre.
That same day, Kid Cudi took to Twitter to respond to Ye's claim that he invented every style when he posted a picture from Wikipedia that says that Kid Cudi's sound is what inspired and led Kanye to create 808s and Heartbreak, when he would caption it with the hand over mouth emoji. A couple of months later, on August 3rd, 2024, Ye and Ty Dolla $ign's album Vultures 2 was released, and on the deluxe version of the album appeared the track Gun to My Head featuring Kid Cudi. After that, nothing else was said, and these two seem to be on good terms. I think Cudi and Kanye will forever have their differences, but will manage to keep their friendship intact. In the late 1990s, both 50 Cent and Kanye West were hungry to get their rap careers buzzing. Kanye was getting his name out by handling production for various rappers in the game. 50 Cent had a very different approach to gain buzz. He decided to diss the entire industry on his August 1999 track, How to Rob. At the time, 50 was signed to Columbia Records and had been recording his debut album, Power of the Dollar. Only problem was, the record release didn't have any buzz surrounding it, so that's when the concept of How to Rob came to be. This track originally debuted on the soundtrack for the film In Too Deep and featured the Mad Rapper. The next month, on September 21st, 1999, the Mad Rapper dropped his album Tell 'Em Why You Mad, to which How to Rob would make an appearance on this album. On the same album was a track called Stir Crazy featuring Eminem. Long behold, this track was produced by Kanye West. Kanye produced a track that featured Eminem, which appeared on the same album as 50 Cent's debut single. Kanye would of course end up getting signed by Rockefeller, whilst 50 Cent got shot 9 times and ended up getting dropped from Columbia. In 2001, 50 Cent would relocate to Canada after being blackballed from every studio in America. He recruited Sha Money XL to work on mixtapes to gain buzz. In 2002, 50 Cent would begin dropping mixtapes, which would make him the hottest up-and-coming artist in the world. Since no New York label wanted to sign him, in the summer of 2002, 50 flew to LA to sign to Eminem's Shady Records. From there, 50 and G-Unit continued their insane momentum on the mixtape circuit. In late 2002, Kanye West and 50 Cent would officially cross paths for the first time. In December 2002, Kanye dropped his mixtape Get Well Soon, which featured 50 Cent's Funk Flex freestyle, aka Guess Who's Back freestyle from the G-Unit mixtape No Mercy No Fear. According to Tony Yayo, during the recording sessions for the tracks Heat and PIMP from 50's debut album Get Rich or Die Tryin', Kanye West was actually in the studio with 50 Cent, G-Unit, Dr. Dre, and others.
It was one day we was in the studio, and I'll never forget this.
It was Get Rich or Die Trying, and Dr. Dre was in the studio. Like I said, it was me and my man Weezy, and 50. He did If It's Beef Cocking and Dumping. He did on PIMP. He did like 3 songs in one day. And Kanye West was in the studio. I remember that. And he was trying to sing in like Shy Money Air. It was just a crazy day that day. Busta was in the studio, Dre, and I remember nobody could mess with this beat. This beat had like gun sounds and cocking in it. Dre made. I remember Busta tried Rakim, and 50 got on it and just killed it. And that was like one of my favorite experiences in the studio. After this, on February 6, 2003, 50 Cent would take over the rap game, dropping his debut studio album, Get Rich or Die Tryin', which would cement 50 as the biggest rapper on the planet. In August 2003, Kanye West dropped his mixtape, I'm Good, to which 50 Cent made a couple of appearances on this mixtape. On the track In Cold Blood remix with 50 Cent, Lloyd Banks, and Scarface. The G-Unit track, You're Not Ready, appeared on the tape as well. The next year, on February 10th, 2004, Kanye West dropped his debut album, The College Dropout, which would be a massive success, selling over 400,000 units in his first week, and would go on to be multi-platinum. Kanye West was creating a huge rift within hip-hop. At the time, gangsta rap was the main subgenre of rap that was massively mainstream, with 50 Cent being the face of it. Kanye West simply did not fit in with this style, part of the reason why Jay-Z initially thought Kanye wouldn't sell. He didn't rap about what most gangsta rappers were rapping about, and didn't live that lifestyle. He didn't dress how the others were dressing in the 2000s. Baggy clothes, fitted caps, and throwback jerseys was unofficially the gear of hip-hop. Kanye came in with the pink polo and backpack, so hip-hop didn't really give Kanye the attention he deserved, because it was very much still the gangsta rap and 50 Cent era. Later that year, on December 18th, 2004, The Game dropped his mixtape You Know What It Is, Volume 2, which had a track called Warning featuring 50 Cent, which saw 50 and Game spit over Ye's beat for the track Get 'Em High from The College Dropout. In January 2005, Kanye also produced the track Dreams off of The Game's debut album, The Documentary, which 50 Cent played a huge role in, and Game was of course a member of G-Unit at the time of its release. On March 3rd, 2005, 50 Cent would drop his highly anticipated second studio album, The Massacre, which would sell over 1.15 million copies in its first 4 days alone, which is just insane to think about. That summer, on August 30th, 2005, Kanye dropped his second album, Late Registration, which was even more successful than his debut, selling an insane 860,000 copies in the first week and debuting at number 1 on the Billboard. And after this album, Kanye would seemingly start taking over as the next big star in hip-hop. This is when the huge rift would begin, as listeners were starting to get tired of 50 Cent and gangsta rap as a whole. 2005 was arguably 50's biggest year ever, with the release of the albums for all the members of G-Unit that dropped that year, the release of The Massacre, the release of his own flavor of vitamin water, Formula 50, which released in late 2004, the release of his own video game, Bulletproof, in late 2005, which outsold Def Jam's game, Fight for NY, which included dozens of rappers. 50 Cent even had his own movie, Get Rich or Die Tryin', in theaters, which grossed over $12 million in its opening weekend alone, and had a multi-platinum soundtrack that had some mega hits on it. 2005 for 50 Cent was easily one of the most dominant and biggest peaks of a rapper possibly ever. But when you're on top, the only way to go is down, and the next rapper in line, Kanye West, was all but ready to take the throne from 50 Cent. The year of 2006 is when the shift would begin, as hip-hop was seen by many fans and OGs as dead, with Nas notoriously dropping his album, Hip Hop Is Dead. In 2006, album sales were on a decline due to the rise of LimeWire and other sites where people were downloading music online for free. More and more people started buying iPods and MP3 players rather than buying CDs, which means artists were now making less because the labels simply were not making as much money. According to SoundScan, US album sales, which included CDs and digital albums, fell 4.9% in 2006 as an increasing number of consumers preferred digital downloads from the web. I bring this up because it's going to play a vital role in the 50 Cent and Kanye beef. In 2006, 50 Cent did not drop an album. Instead, he just put out a couple of mixtapes. But on the other hand, the white-hot Kanye West was preparing to drop his third album titled Graduation. The year prior, on August 3rd, 2005, during a listening session for late registration at Sony Music Studios, Kanye revealed that he wanted to schedule the release of Graduation for sometime around October 2006. Now, this obviously never ended up happening due to Kanye getting caught up in other projects. In 2007, 50 Cent was also gearing up to release his third album, Before I Self-Destruct, where 50 confirmed that he has 12 tracks done already for the album. However, this would not end up happening, and Before I Self-Destruct would be pushed back to 2008, and 50 decided to switch directions and work on a new concept called Curtis instead.
Beg for Before I Self-Destruct is completed. It's like 2 songs away from being done. You know, because I was writing to that concept before I changed the concept to Curtis and created what I'm getting ready to put out now.
And then you're going to release a 4th album?
Yeah, my 4th album is titled Before I Self-Destruct. Yeah, I actually started the concept before I completed this record, and I recorded like 10 records before I started, working on a Curtis, but...
He switched the name from Curtis to Curtis SSK, which stood for a couple of things: Shoot, Stab, Kill, Southside King, and SoundScan Killer. Ultimately, 50 would drop this title and stick to the name Curtis. Also, due to 50 Cent being born Curtis James Jackson III, and this is his third album, so naming it after himself made sense. If we take a look in the booklet, you'll see it says SSK as a sort of an Easter egg to the original title. On March 28, 2007, Kanye West did an interview on Power 106 where he would say that he was working hard on his third album and Common's 7th album, Finding Forever. During this time would be when Kanye West and 50 Cent actually went to the studio together, as 50 was looking for a change in creative direction. 50 Cent and Kanye actually worked on a couple of songs together, with Kanye handling the production, but unfortunately, these tracks would never see the light of day. Kanye West actually played 50 Cent his upcoming album, Graduation, to which 50 said that his favorite track was Can't Tell Me Nothing, and suggested that Kanye drop that record as a single. On April 4th, 2007, 50 Cent called into Hot 97 to speak to Miss Jones on her morning show and DJ Envy, where he would officially announce his next album will be called Curtis and will be dropping on June 19th, 2007.
This album releases June 19th, and this album is called Curtis.
On April 24th, 2007, 50 Cent premiered the first single from Curtis called Straight to the Bank to radio. Then in May, he would do the same with the track called Fully Loaded Clip. You could see on the promo CD single cover for Straight to the Bank, it says album in stores June 19th, 2007. That same month, on May 5th, 50 Cent would walk Floyd Mayweather to the ring for his fight against Oscar De La Hoya while performing his track Straight to the Bank. This track would end up leaking on the internet, causing 50 to drop another single on May 8th, 2007 called Amusement Park. 50 would also include the track Fully Loaded Clip with the CD of the single. On the promo CD single cover, you could see that 50 has now delayed his album to June 26th, reading from the album Curtis, in stores June 26th, 2007. Meanwhile, on May 11th, 2007, Kanye West announced his third album, Graduation, is now set for a September 18th, 2007 release date. Just 4 days later, on May 15th, 2007, Kanye West debuted the lead single for the album, a song called Can't Tell Me Nothing. The next day, on May 16th, 2007, 50 Cent premiered the music video for Amusement Park, on Access Granted and on Yahoo's website. On May 17th, 50 Cent appeared at the '07 BET press conference where he announced that he is now dropping his album Curtis on June 26th, 2007, which is the same day as the 2007 BET Awards. That same day, the music video for Straight to the Bank would debut on MTV. On May 27, 2007, Kanye West, along with his A&R Plain Pat, would drop the Can't Tell Me Nothing mixtape to build anticipation for graduation. As Can't Tell Me Nothing peaked at number 41 on the Billboard, Straight to the Bank peaked at number 32 on the Billboard Hot 100. Amusement Park actually did not end up charting on the Billboard Hot 100 at all, but did peak at number 36 on the Hot R&B/Hip Hop Songs chart. So Curtis was definitely off to a very slow start, so 50 thought that he needed to come up with new singles and sort of change the direction of the album. On June 16th, 2007, 50 Cent sat down with Kim Halling for an interview with The Voice TV, where he announced that Curtis is now being delayed with a new release date of September 4th, 2007, due to wanting a more worldwide release.
The first time they'll see me perform some records that off my new album, Curtis, is scheduled to release September 4th. It was actually originally scheduled to come out June 26th, but that would have been the last date that I could have simultaneously released my album worldwide. And because we missed that date, I mean, I said, let me push it back and make sure I do it right. You know, because I feel like I got a obligation to my fans worldwide, more so. Like a lot of artists in the States don't actually come out to be in front of audiences in different places because they don't see the significance of having the music impact in different. I watch my music break language barriers. It's people that don't necessarily know English that know exactly what I'm saying on the stage when they're up there, and I enjoy it.
On June 26, 2007, Kanye's second single called Stronger was sent to radio stations. 50 Cent was ultimately disappointed with how things went with Straight to the Bank and Amusement Park. He expected a way bigger response, especially in comparison to his last two album rollouts, which were massive. This is when 50 would then go back and record some new songs and would have another hit ready. On June 30th, 2007, 50 Cent dropped the third single from Curtis called I Get Money. This song peaked at number 20 on the Billboard Hot 100 and was exactly the response that 50 Cent was looking for heading into his new album release. After the release of I Get Money, a track that 50 had planned called Ayo Technology would end up leaking to the internet. 50 Cent would reveal in an interview on the Drama Hour with DJ K-Slay that Interscope actually leaked the record.
I was actually upset that Ayo Technology leaked. I knew for a fact that the record was leaking from Interscope because the first two records, Straight to the Bank and Amusement Park, weren't playing at the station that played Ayo Technology first.
Oh, okay.
So that's an indication to me that they delivered it to top 40 in the crossover before they sent it to Hot 97.
Yeah,
or,
true,
you know.
true. Yeah.
So I was like, yo, like, that ain't like a regular leak, B. That's,
Told on itself.
Yeah.
50 Cent was clearly having some rollout issues with Curtis. It was just off to a rocky start. The music video for I Get Money would premiere on July 13th, 2007 on Hot97.com. On that same day, it was announced that Curtis would be pushed back another week with a new release date of September 11th, 2007. Interscope Records would ultimately decline to give a reason for the delay. That week, Kanye West would sit down with Funkmaster Flex on Hot 97 to promote Graduation. During the interview, he spoke on 50 Cent and confirmed that he and 50 were actually in the studio a couple of months prior.
I noticed that sometimes 50 will mention you almost like saying that you are maybe the exact opposite of what he does or where he is in his career, and that in turn makes you successful. He says it in so many words sometimes, like in the media, in the press. Have you ever had a chance to speak to him? Have you met him? Have you ever or if you and him ever talked about it? I mean, he doesn't 100% say it disrespectfully. It's more like, I mean,
it's an analysis.
Yeah, and he's on you're on his radar because you're moving units.
Yeah.
So I get that vibe like you're on his radar. So
You gotta analyze the game, and anybody analyzing the game, I'ma come up somewhere.
Be clear.
Yeah, if you're looking at TV, you gonna see me,
the kid.
Yeah, so I was in the studio with 50.
This is early now. Was your project already out? Your album out?
No. This is just early a couple months ago.
Oh, this is months ago.
Yeah. And so we were working on some joints for his album, and 50 is one of those dudes.
So meaning, whatever he said, whatever might have been said, that had nothing to do with like you guys talk, you guys, vibe and everything. So that's
my public. Gabe always joking about, man, you such a 50 Cent fan. Like always making jokes because like I'd be like, oh, I Got Money is my favorite record, and they always make jokes about that because it seems like because our music is like polar opposites, or that I wouldn't like it. You know what I'm saying? That in order to represent what I represent, I can't like 50 music, but I like whatever is the hottest music out there. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm a fan first, but I must say about certain people, true stars. When I say stronger, bow in the presence of greatness, it's a couple people: Jay-Z, 50 Cent, Eminem, like, in our genre, that's like really people that walk in the room and you'd be thinking like, man, that's 50 Cent. Even regardless if, whatever I've done, I still be in a room with Jay or be in a room with 50, like, wow, that dude did this record. That dude accomplished this. You know what I'm saying?
On July 19th, 2007, it was announced that Kanye West would now have a new release date for Graduation of September 11th, 2007. The same day 50 Cent was dropping Curtis. This move was made with the intent of a sales competition between himself and 50 Cent. Plus, Kanye also saw this as a win-win situation for both of them because he knew it would be a good way to get people to go out and buy CDs again, especially during a time when labels were scrambling to find ways to get people to purchase music again. Kanye would speak on this saying, "When I heard that thing about the debate, I thought that was the stupidest thing. When my album drops and 50's album drops, everybody wins because you're going to get a lot of good music at the same time." The president and CEO of Def Jam at the time, Jay-Z, welcomed competition, of course, and thought it would be prosperous for hip-hop, so the date would become permanent. Media outlets would then begin speculating that either Kanye or 50 would have to change their release date. The next day, on July 20th, 2007, 50 Cent stopped by Hot 97 to talk with Funkmaster Flex. During the interview, he revealed that he will not be moving his release date and suggested that Jay-Z will not let Kanye drop on the same day as him. I mean, I hope that they see and understand what's getting ready to happen. I'm not moving. I'm coming September 11th. If Kanye come that day, then he come that day. I mean, that'd be great if he actually stays in that date. I think his people are smart. I think he's smart too. I think they'll move, but I'm not moving. Jay's not going to let that happen anyway. He's not going to leave him there. 3 days later, on July 23rd, 2007, Kanye did an interview with MTV to speak on 50's response to Graduation dropping on the same day as Curtis. "I'd rather come out on a day like that, up against 50, where people are excited about going to the stores and it's an event and people talk about it, and be number 2 on that day rather than come out and be number 1 on a day nobody cares about. It's about things going down in history. It's not that much exciting stuff in hip-hop right now. I think people are going to make it more than what I'm making it myself. At the end of the day, I'm making music and I'm trying to sell." The next day, on July 24th, 2007, 50 Cent officially dropped the 4th single from Curtis called Ayo Technology, featuring Justin Timberlake. This track would debut at number 22 on the Billboard Hot 100 and would rise to number 18 the following week. On July 31st, 2007, Kanye West would officially drop the 2nd single from Graduation, a track called Stronger. This track would end up reaching number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, so it was clear that Kanye's album had way more momentum than 50's. 50 Cent would do something crazy to really apply pressure on this Graduation versus Curtis sales battle that was brewing. On August 10th, 2007, during an interview with SOHH, 50 spoke on Kanye, saying that Kanye gets all the trophies because he's a safer artist, and announced that he will retire if Graduation outsells Curtis.
the people who give out trophies pick him because he's safe. I sell 1.1 million records in 4 days, and then I didn't get one trophy for the massacre, for the entire album. Then release Get Rich or Die Trying as a soundtrack, sell 3 million records as a soundtrack, and soundtracks are harder to sell than solo albums, and then no trophies for the soundtrack.
You're watching SOHH.
You know, so I don't get trophies, I get checks. They'd like to see Kanye West give me a problem because I've worked myself into a space where I've become the favorite. Everybody roots for the underdog when he goes against the favorite, but put it like this, let's raise the stakes. If Kanye West sells more records than 50 Cent on September 11th, I'll no longer write music.
Things would get worse for 50 in his rollout, because that same day, the music video for what was supposed to be the 5th single called Follow My Lead with Robin Thicke ended up leaking online. Now this track was scheduled to drop in October, which was a month after Curtis was set to release. After the leak, 50 Cent crashed out, being so frustrated that the song leaked that he reportedly started cursing at the label staff at the G-Unit offices, ripped a 70-inch plasma screen TV right off the wall, and threw his BlackBerry cell phone out of the window of his executive office, and declared that he was going on a vacation. During his blackout, he was overheard saying that he planned on boycotting future promotion and media for the album and may possibly leave the label over this incident. Needless to say, 50 Cent was just over it at this point with this rollout, and he would be frustrated at Interscope, blaming them for the leak, thinking that he is getting completely screwed over. This is when Cent was brought out by Ciara to perform their song Can't Leave Him Alone. Then he would perform his track I Get Money. He would then leave the stage as T.I. was closing the show, and he decided to bring out Jay-Z. Knowing that Jay-Z was going to bring out Kanye, 50 saw this as an opportunity to sabotage their performance. Since this was made to further promote Graduation, which 50 was competing with at the time, 50 uninvitedly rushed the stage, with Jay-Z being pissed, even telling him to get off the stage on the mic.
We got, hey.
You can get down, nigga. You can get down. It's all good.
This a real special moment, ain't it?
Come on, you can get some.
This a real special moment,
Let's
ain't
go.
it?
Kanye would then come out along with Diddy, as they were all on stage, with 50 counting money and running around the stage taunting Jay-Z and Kanye West, completely sabotaging their moment in New York in another classic troll move. 50 Cent would later reveal what Jay-Z would say to him when he initially went on stage, because Jay-Z definitely knew what 50 was up to.
So you and Jay, you get along?
Yeah, totally.
But you take jabs?
Well, you know, I mean, we've been in competition for a long time.
And you run up on stage when he's doing a little too much?
Yeah. He ain't like that, yeah. He ain't like that.
You didn't like it? Tell me again what he said to you when you ran on the stage.
You had to come up here, huh?
That's so great.
Because he was going to have a moment, so he had to share.
So you ran up there?
Yeah, and then my victory laps.
And then Kanye came out.
Yeah, and he was looking, he was scared to death, I swear to God. Like, when I don't have a problem, I never have a problem with someone who doesn't actually have a problem with me. That's just who I am. You know what I'm saying? I think people that do that, huh?
But you think he's scared?
No, I think he was nervous when he saw me.
It's a gorilla versus a teddy bear. How do you...
Yeah, like I think when he came out onto the stage, something was wrong. Because it was supposed to be...
Because he didn't know what the hell you were doing.
Yeah, it's like,
there.
wait a minute. Is this gonna be like an incident?
This is not how we rehearsed it.
Nah, it's like...
And you love that.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I really did enjoy that.
Bully.
I wasn't being a bully. I was just having a good time.
So Jay says to you, you had to come up here.
Yeah, you had to.
What
and then he was going up the stage. I said, "Run, New York." He stopped.
He hates you.
Yeah, it's a love-hate situation.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
It goes back to Summer Jam.
So wait, then Puffy came up there.
Yeah, Diddy. So, see, Diddy. Well, I told him. I tapped him. I said, "Yo, I'm going up there." He's like, "What?" He said, "What? You going up?" I said, "Yeah." And then I went, and then he was like, "Oh man," he said, "Oh, like for what? Like for the Kanye?" I said,
you thought you were gonna like
yeah, fight with himself. I said, "Nah, I'm going up there." Then after I went up there, you see he didn't come until after I did like the first 2 laps.
He was like,
because he was like,
okay.
oh, we good, let's go. He had to fix it for me because he was like, yo, you know, I didn't want him to feel like, you know, you was just deboing him. So I said I had to come out here too, so we make it real.
So now it's a big old unity, hip hop unity.
Unity.
On the morning of August 30th, 2007, the clean version of both Graduation and Curtis would actually end up leaking online weeks before their release date. Billboard would then conduct a survey, to which the results displayed that an estimated 44% of readers predicted that Graduation would sell more units than Curtis. Curtis was projected to sell in the 500,000 to 600,000 range first week, and Graduation was projected to sell in the 575,000 to 700,000 range. A week later, on September 6, 2007, issue 1034 of the Rolling Stone magazine hit shelves, which featured 50 Cent and Kanye West on the cover, as the showdown for the battle of sales was just days away. In the behind the scenes to the photo shoot, 50 and Kanye sat down and talked, where they revealed that this was all in the nature of competition. 3 days later, on September 9th, 2007, both 50 Cent and Kanye West attended the 2007 MTV VMAs. Both would appear on the show to discuss their sales battle on the red carpet, with both of them having performances. During the show, Kanye and 50 Cent had their infamous face-to-face, which would be dubbed as an earth-shattering collaboration. After the show, Kanye West would infamously crash out backstage after being frustrated that he didn't get to open or close the show, and was also mad that he didn't win any awards. During this crash out, Kanye vowed to never come back to MTV ever again.
Give a black man a chance, man. MTV. Tell him what the I said. Y'all had these lights, man. 5 nominations. Lost the Black Eyed Peas last year, man. I'm never coming to MTV. Y'all find Britney. Get Britney. Get a real artist. Get Britney Spears. I ain't with this pop man. Man, that's 2 years in a row, man. Get off this man. I love this nigga, but man, goddamn, man. Give a chance, man. Give a black man a chance. I'm trying hard, man. I got the #1 record, man. I'm trying, man. I don't give a chance, man. Y'all wanna, they don't wanna black in that position, man. They don't want it, man.
The next day, on September 10th, 2007, Kanye West and 50 Cent were set to appear on MTV's TRL, but Kanye didn't show up after his incident at the VMAs the night prior, so 50 would show up and clown Kanye for not coming. The next day, on September 11th, 2007, it was officially release day for both Graduation and Curtis. On Curtis, 50 Cent would add a bonus track called Smile, I'm Leaving. On this track, 50 Cent voices his frustrations with the rollout of Curtis, his issues with Interscope, and Jimmy Iovine. 50 would insinuate that Curtis might very well be his last album ever, as he's just about done with music at this point because of how stressed he was from this album rollout. He mentioned Kanye in the song, saying that Oprah wants to talk about Kanye's car crash from 2002, but won't speak about 50 getting shot 9 times. Basically painting the picture that the world has basically moved on from him, his run on top, and his story. I mean, it happens to everyone that is on top for so long, so 50 was now experiencing it.
You said Kanye West down to talk about his crash, but she don't want to talk about the bullets in my ass.
On Graduation, on the track Good Life featuring T-Pain, Kanye paid homage to 50 by referencing lyrics from In Da Club.
I'ma tell you what banks told me, cause go ahead, switch the style up. Niggas hate to let them hate them, watch the money pile up. 50 told me go ahead, switch the style up. And if they hate to let them hate and watch the money pile up.
That day, both 50 Cent and Kanye West would appear on BET's 106 and Park. They both spoke about the competition of sales and their respective albums. Kanye and 50 then both performed, with 50 performing with Tony Yayo. Kanye West, on the other hand, performed Big Brother with Jay-Z by his side because the track is about their relationship. Then 50 Cent and Kanye West both sat down where 50 would mock Kanye for bringing Jay-Z with him, referring to him as Big Brother. Then the two would speak about both of their albums. 50 Cent would later reveal in his 2020 book, Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter, that he originally had planned to have Eminem be in his corner to counteract Jay-Z being in Kanye's corner, but BET told Interscope that they couldn't have guests, ultimately telling Eminem not to come. I realized what I was up against in the weeks leading up to the release when Kanye and I both agreed to do joint appearances on BET. I had planned to bring Eminem with me, but BET told Interscope we couldn't have guests. Interscope said fine and told M not to come. Then the day of the show, I get there and Jay is performing with Kanye. So clearly, Jay had gone to some length to get around the no guest rule, whereas Interscope had just let it go. They simply weren't as motivated as Jay. On September 18th, 2007, the first week sales numbers were officially submitted. 50 Cent's Curtis debuted at number 2 on the Billboard, selling 691,000 units in the first week. Graduation, on the other hand, would debut at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, selling 957,000 units in the first week, as Kanye West managed to beat out the juggernaut of the rap game, officially dethroning 50 Cent. That day, Kanye would speak on beating 50 Cent in the sales battle. It feels overwhelming. Everyone is coming up to me and telling me how proud they are of me. 50 Cent would speak on losing to Kanye. I'm very excited to have participated in one of the biggest album release weeks in the last 2 years. Collectively, we have sold hundreds of thousands of units in our debut week. This marks a great moment for hip-hop music, one that will go down in history. Kanye spoke further on the whole sales competition. I was the underdog because I sold less records in the past, so it was a win-win for me. If I lost, everyone would be happy that I even went up against him. Jay-Z would say some words about the sales battle. The rivalry helped both of them. It was definitely one of those moments in the game that was exciting. Everybody could pick a side and weigh in on and have an opinion. It garnered a lot of attention. That same day, according to the New York Daily News, 50 Cent accused Kanye of cheating to win their SoundScan battle. In an interview with UK music magazine Uncut, 50 Cent said, "He's never had a fraction of the sales 50 Cent has. They could have only one scan and have it count 4 times. West's entire career hasn't sold half of what I sold on my first album." In a September 2007 interview with Wendy Williams, Kanye would say that Graduation and Curtis would not have done the numbers it did without them doing their whole battle of the sales competition.
How do you feel that you bested 50 in first week sales?
Oh, I always knew I was going to win. That's the reason why I didn't say much. You know what I'm saying? Like, both of us, our numbers, like, my numbers would have been lower if it wasn't 50. His numbers would have been lower. We came together and did something really great for the industry. We combined for more than, 1.5, in sales in 1 week.
On October 4th, 2007, 50 Cent and G-Unit dropped the final installment of the G-Unit Radio mixtape series, G-Unit Radio 25, Sabrina's Baby Boy. On this is a track called I Don't Want to Talk About It. It's rumored that Kanye West was actually supposed to appear on this track, and it was supposed to be on Curtis. Kanye and 50 even alluded to this on their 106 & Park sit-down interview.
Yeah, my favorite joint is I Get Money on the album. But I like this joint he got down think on the album. So I don't want to talk about that. I'm getting money, but I don't want to talk about it.
This track would later appear on G-Unit's second and final 2008 album, TOS. In 2008, things went quiet between the two. In 2009, 50 Cent was gearing up to drop his 4th album, Before I Self-Destruct. On June 16th, 2009, 50 Cent dropped his mixtape War Angel LP, and on the track I Line N-Words, 50 would decide to poke fun at Kanye for the use of autotune on his 2008 album 808s and Heartbreak.
Goons don't use autotune, that's easy.
A couple of months later, on September 13th, 2009, At the 2009 MTV VMAs, Kanye West notoriously interrupted Taylor Swift's speech when he grabbed the mic from her hand. The next day, on September 14th, 2009, 50 Cent did an interview with Much, where he would give his take on the Kanye West and Taylor Swift incident with a warning to Kanye if he ever tried pulling that stunt on him.
So I want to ask you first though, did you watch Kanye last night? Did you watch the VMAs?
Yeah, I
Did you
saw
have a
the
comment
VMAs.
on that? Because I know you had your own sort of like award show moment in 2004, but tell me what you think about that.
That was interesting. Like, I mean, when you nominated for the first time, what you saw from me in 2004 was the Grammys.
Uh-huh.
When I went up, Evanescence won the Best New Artist, and it was like, I sold 12 million records. It's the largest debut in hip-hop album to date, and I was overlooked, and I still don't have a Grammy. It's been 13 nominations. Because I wrote The Harsh Realities, I've been overlooked completely. So when you got an artist there for the first time, and you go and you want to tell them, like, we know Beyonce is great.
Of course.
You know that? Like, there's nobody that's confused in that actual area. But Taylor Swift is great and is new at that point, and you can't replace it. Even an apology can't replace what it feels like for the very first time receiving that award. Now, in her head, my first award was Kanye West.
Yeah,
You know, it's damaging, but I wish he would come take one of my awards so I could black his eye in front of everybody.
Yeah, you might not have put up with it the way that she did.
He pick and choose who you feel safe doing that with, though. Be honest, like,
Exactly.
you shouldn't worry about me. Pink was finna get to him.
Yeah, she's gonna take him out, I think.
Later that month, on September 22nd, 2009, Jay-Z sat down with Trevor Nelson on BBC One for an interview. And during the interview, he would respond to 50's claims on his Much interview that Kanye wouldn't have done what he did to Taylor Swift to him. Jay rebutted, saying Kanye would have done it, and says that no one is scared of 50 Cent.
Of Kanye, and I do want you to answer on his behalf if you can, is that I think he's picking his victims a bit too easily.
I don't
think he would have done that if that was 50 up there, you know?
I think he would have done that if that was 50 Cent. No one's scared of 50 Cent.
Well, you know what I mean.
I'm just, I want everyone to be clear. No one's scared of 50 Cent. So I just think that that's what he believed. I think it was rude. I thought it was inappropriate. And I told him as much. But I don't think he was wrong.
A couple of weeks later, on October 1st, 2009, 50 Cent sat down with Angie Martinez for an interview at Hot 97, where he would respond to Jay's rebuttal and would further clown Kanye West. Because Lady Gaga would come out and say that her and Kanye's joint tour, called Fame Kills, will be very accessible to her gay fans, dubbing it as a gay tour. So of course, 50 chimed in.
Kanye West and Lady Gaga.
Ah, the gay tour.
December 22nd.
Oh, man.
That's not what they're calling it, Fifth.
No, I thought it was because I saw it on the web. Didn't she say her
What
tour
did you
was gay?
see on the web?
She called it.
Gaga called it the gay
She
tour.
called it, but you
No,
can't
she-
call it 50.
Why I can't?
Here's
Come
how the
on.
story went. The story went that Lady Gaga said to Kanye,
Uh-huh.
I have a large gay following, and my show is gay, and and don't be surprised or don't whatever.
And what Kanye say? Me too?
I don't know what he said. They didn't put that part in the story.
Oh, I
He
ain't
didn't
write
say
that.
that.
This is how you want to start the show, Fifth?
Nah, I'm just.
I love
you know,
Fifth.
This is
great.
how you want to start the show.
I'm the greatest show on earth, and
And the funny thing is, before we got on, you were being somewhat pleasant and not really.
yeah, well, you know, I'm
weren't really-
pleasant. I mean, just when you said it, I just thought about what stood out the most to me about the tour.
About the tour, right?
Like that was shocking for her to make that statement.
Right.
I mean, but Kanye's cool with the gay folks.
Yeah.
I have nothing against him, but he's cool with them. Like he drops his video off to him.
Right.
Like the
I don't
love.
understand
Remember
what you're
808
saying.
on Heartbreaks? Where did he?
I am not playing with you, Fifth.
Where did he premiere it?
What are you saying?
Ellen,
though? What
what's it?
exactly are you saying?
Ellen DeGeneres. She went there to premiere his video.
There's plenty of people who do that, no?
Who else?
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know
man.
where you're going with this. I don't
No,
know where
I'm just
you're
saying
taking
he's conscious of the gay community and he wants them to buy a
me. Do
CD.
you not like Kanye 50?
I don't have a problem with him.
You seem to be somewhat. He seems to be somewhat of a punching
No,
bag.
he's
to
necessary. He's necessary. You need Kanye West and you need 50 Cent. It's the contrast between the yin and the yang.
Yeah, it's true.
But you look at him as your yang.
Huh?
Do you look at 50 as your the yang to your yin?
I think
that's a good way.
I like to think I'm special. For instance, I've been nominated for 13 Grammys.
Right.
And I have no trophies. You know? That's why I made a statement about Taylor Swift. Like I said, if I was actually up there, he wouldn't come take my trophy.
Right.
Kanye West.
Mm-hmm.
And Jay disagrees.
Jay said nobody's scared of 50. That's what the quote was.
Yeah, but that really, he should address the guy who made him feel like a punk. Well, he had to make it clear that no one's scared of 50 Cent, because that person was obviously making him feel like maybe he's afraid or Kanye West is afraid of 50 Cent. It wasn't 50 Cent.
But
and the public misinterprets it. Like, see, well, we have, like, you know how rock and roll has punk rock?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know, hip hop has cool punk. And Jay's the coolest punk in hip hop. His presentation makes people decide to say,
oh man,
you know, because he's big, and his take on it is bigger than the actual art form. He won't actually compete. So there's points where the artist will do things just to create a competition, like the battling that has always been a part of the culture, and it doesn't happen because he just looks like, and words from Slick Rick, these peasants.
Does that
mean
bother
nothing.
you? Does it bother you?
No, it doesn't bother me. It's just his choice. You know, but when he has to say no one's afraid of 50 Cent, it's because the public is responding to his punk presentation. It's not 50 Cent. I don't have a problem with him.
I think he was responding to you saying that Kanye would be scared if you were on
Kanye would not take a trophy from me. Neither Jay-Z.
Right.
Neither one of them.
What would you have?
No, we'd have had altercation right there.
But you're saying your stage would not be so comfortable for anybody to go
No.
up there.
And I like it like that.
A couple of years later, in 2011, 50 Cent would begin dropping a series of songs for his campaign for his sleek audio headphones, Sleek by 50. On February 2nd, 2011, 50 dropped a track called Old 2003 Ferrari. And on this track, he took more shots at Kanye. This time, he clowned both Kanye and Wiz Khalifa for both being involved in a relationship with Amber Rose, then mocks them both further, saying she went from runaways in Milan with Kanye to bags of reefer with Wiz.
We can share love like Kanye and Khalifa, from runways in Milan to big bags of reefer.
Fast forward all the way to September 17th, 2019. 50 Cent did an interview with Big Boy's Neighborhood, and when asked about the Curtis versus Graduation Battle of Sales, he would claim that Jay-Z did everything he could for Kanye to beat him in sales.
I haven't experienced this, so I would.
What about when you said when Curtis, the album, and Graduation, when y'all went up against each other?
Yeah.
And I thought that was a great moment for hip hop.
It was.
And you said that if he sold more records than you,
Yeah,
then you would retire. And everybody felt like he was the underdog at that time.
Yeah, he was.
And y'all had great albums. He sold more. You
And
didn't retire.
you know what happened is, but later, if you look at Jay-Z's documentary, he said he points that moment out as a point that he beat me. Right? How did he beat me if it was Kanye? It's because he was the president of Def Jam, and they did everything they could to make that work at that point. So it was like, we have to make the numbers.
Oh. You think it was fuzzy math?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. The next year, on April 28th, 2020, 50 Cent dropped his book, Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter. In this book, he went into detail about the Curtis versus Graduation Battle of Sales. Our battle took place in 2007, when Kanye's third album, Graduation, was due to come out a week after my third album, Curtis. When I saw that the dates were so close to each other, I realized that we had a chance to do something special by turning our release dates into a head-to-head competition. I pitched Kanye on the concept of each of us dropping the same day. Being an independent thinker himself, Kanye saw the value in my vision and agreed to move his release up. He understood we could collectively generate much more buzz by hyping up our battle than being out on individual promo runs. The media loves a spectacle, and few things were more of a show than Kanye and me going head to head. We both played it for all it was worth, doing appearances together and adopting the role of two prize fighters before a big fight. To be clear, there was no actual beef between us. Kanye had never expressed any discomfort about the success I had had, and I respected him as an artist. It was truly just a case of two people being comfortable with the concept of competing against each other. Personally, I know competition was what I needed at that point in my career. I was in the most vulnerable state an artist can reach: confusion. So much had happened to me in such a short period of time that I had lost touch with my sense of self. Competition would help take me back to my roots in order to regain that spark. I even moved back to my grandmother's house in Queens for a bit so I could soak up some of my old energy. Kanye was in a different point of his career at the time, but he took the competition just as seriously as I did. In the weeks leading up to the release, he locked himself away in his studio, redoing mixes and trying to make his album sound as tight as possible. He reportedly mixed Stronger over 50 times before he was finally satisfied. Neither of us were treating it like a stunt. Both of us were playing to win. In the end, Kanye took home the gold. Graduation sold 957,000 units in the first week, while Curtis moved 691,000 units. It marked the first time two artists had moved over 600,000 units in the same week since 1991. Today, selling 691,000 units your first week would be considered a massive success, but at the time, the narrative was that Kanye had soundly defeated me. Of course, he did beat me, but what the public couldn't see was that I'd still earned a major victory. The truth was, by the time Curtis was ready to drop, Interscope already started to pull back from me. I was in the green with them financially, as my first two albums had each sold a combined 20 million copies, but despite that success, it was still their discretion whether to continue spending marketing dollars on me. Despite all my success, they decided to slow down the cash flow. Even more damaging than holding back on the marketing dollars, they were undercutting my promotional strategy for the album. My plan had been to build up a street buzz with the song Straight to the Bank, which spoke to my core audience. Once that song was bubbling a bit, my idea was to release Amusement Park, which had a more pop feel. It was the same strategy I used when I released Wanksta before Indie Club. Get your core audience engaged first, then drop something for a wider audience. Interscope should have supported my plan. It had worked in the past, but when Amusement Park did not hit #1 as fast as they expected, they started to second guess my strategy. That threw off the energy I was trying to build. To make matters even worse, when the record went to print, the whole album leaked prematurely. Those records should have come out after Curtis dropped, instead of in the weeks leading up to it. Once those leaks happened, I was in a bad spot. The public was none the wiser, but I knew Interscope had already severely damaged my launch. Thankfully, I knew just what to do. Instead of sitting around and moaning about my label, I took matters into my own hands. Just like I had 7 years earlier when Columbia was dropping the ball. I created a competition that would generate the buzz my label wasn't capable of creating. In the mid-2000s, both Kanye West and Taylor Swift made a name for themselves in the music industry. Kanye debuted in 2004 with The College Dropout and came back the next year in 2005 with Late Registration. In 2006, the 17-year-old Taylor Swift would drop her self-titled debut studio album. This album would sell 40,000 copies in the first week, and the young Taylor Swift had a very promising career. 2 years later, she followed up with her second album, Fearless, on November 11th, 2008. This album sold 592,000 copies in the first week, debuting at #1 on the Billboard. This would be Swift's breakout project, and this album would sell over 3 million copies in the United States throughout 2009. On April 20th, 2009, the second single on the album, You Belong With Me, would be released to radio. The music video premiered on MTV on May 4th, 2009. It would be at the 2009 MTV VMAs where Kanye West would pull one of the biggest stunts in award show history. On Sunday, September 13th, 2009, the 2009 MTV Video Music Awards was being held at the Radio City Music Hall in New York City. Kanye West was seen with his then-girlfriend, Amber Rose. Kanye was intoxicated, sipping Hennessy, while Taylor Swift arrived in a horse and carriage. Taylor Swift was nominated for the Best Female Video for You Belong With Me. Beyonce was also nominated under this category for the music video for her song Single Ladies. Taylor Swift would ultimately end up winning the Best Female Video Award. This was definitely a dream come true for the then 20-year-old Taylor Swift. As she hit the stage to accept her award, she would deliver her acceptance speech when all of a sudden a drunken Kanye stormed the stage. Ye grabbed the mic out of Taylor Swift's hand and would say that Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time, completely ruining her moment and even mortifying Beyonce.
Yo, Taylor, I'm really happy for you. I'm gonna let you finish. But Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time.
After Ye's rant, Taylor was left on stage with nothing else to say, so she went backstage and reportedly cried her eyes out. Beyonce also felt extremely bad for Taylor Swift, so later that night, Beyonce would win the award for Best Music Video for Single Ladies. During her acceptance speech, she would bring out Taylor Swift and give her moment away to Taylor, allowing her to finally deliver her speech. The next day, the media was in a frenzy over the situation, and everyone hated Kanye West. From other artists to even the then President of the United States, Barack Obama, everyone was taking jabs at Kanye for his actions at the VMAs.
Particularly nice person. She's getting her award. What's he doing?
Why would he do that?
He's a jackass.
No.
Kanye would then take to his blog site to issue an apology to Taylor Swift. "I'm so sorry to Taylor Swift and her fans and her mom. I spoke to her mother right after, and she said the same thing my mother would have said. She's very talented. I like the lyrics about being a cheerleader, and she's in the bleachers. I'm in the wrong for going on stage and taking away from her moment. Beyonce's video was the best of this decade. I'm sorry to my fans if I let you guys down. I'm sorry to my friends at MTV. I will apologize to Taylor tomorrow. Welcome to the real world. Everybody wanna boo me, but I'm a fan of real pop culture. No disrespect, but we watching the show at the crib right now, cause well, you know, I'm still happy for Taylor. You are very, very talented. I gave my awards to Outkast when they deserved it over me. That's what it is. I'm not crazy, y'all. I'm just real. Sorry for that. I really feel bad for Taylor, and I'm sincerely sorry. Much respect." The next day, on September 14th, 2009, Kanye appeared on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, where he would speak on the incident, apologizing to Taylor.
It was rude, period. And, I like to be able to apologize to her in person. And, I wanted to.
During the interview, Jay Leno also asked him what his mother would have said about this, which made Kanye visibly emotional, being that she passed away 2 years prior. Ye also would say that he's taking time off to reflect on this and see how he can move past it.
Let me ask something. I was fortunate enough to meet your mom and talk with your mom a number of years ago. What do you think she would have said about this? Would she be disappointed in this? Would she give you a lecture?
Yeah.
A couple of days later, on September 19th, 2009, Taylor Swift appeared on The View to speak on Kanye and the whole VMA incident, where she would reveal that Kanye still hasn't reached out to her.
Well, I think my overall thought process went something like, wow, I can't believe I won. This is awesome. Don't trip and fall. I'm going to get to thank the fans. This is so cool. Oh, Kanye West is here. Cool haircut. Kanye West is here. Cool haircut. What are you doing there? And then, ouch. And then, I guess I'm not going to get to thank the fans.
No, he said, he came on Jay Leno, and he said he wanted to apologize to you face to face. If he came to you, would you want to meet with him face to face?
Sure. I mean, he has not personally reached out or anything, but if you wanted to say hi.
He hasn't called or sent a message or an email or anything?
No.
After that interview, it was reported by The View that Kanye did call Taylor after the show went off air. After the show, he spoke personally to the country music superstar via telephone and has apologized to the 19-year-old singer. She has accepted Mr. West's apology. The contents of the phone call are to remain private. Weeks later, on October 1st, 2009, it was announced that Kanye and Lady Gaga's Fame Kills tour was cancelled, as it was set to take place that November. Lady Gaga's choreographer, Laurie Ann Gibson, would tweet that it was cancelled due to creative differences. Lady Gaga herself would say in an interview with Billboard music event, quote, "It was a mutual decision. Kanye is going to take some time off, but the good news is that I'm going on tour in a few weeks." It was later reported that the tour was scrapped because ticket sales sucked. It's also speculated that Lady Gaga's team simply was not happy with what Kanye did at the VMAs. On November 7, 2009, Taylor Swift hosted Saturday Night Live, and during her monologue song, she would poke fun at Kanye.
You might be expecting me to say something bad about Kanye and how he ran up on the stage and ruined my VMA monologue. Hey, I've got security lining the stage.
It seemed as if the world was witnessing the downfall of Kanye West, having little to no support during this time period because of his actions. Kanye was also getting tired of Taylor Swift being seen as the victim. He observed that Taylor Swift never defended him in any interview, and in his eyes, she was riding the waves from the controversy. After a brief hiatus from recording, Kanye flew to Hawaii in late 2009 with a lot to get off his chest, so he began working on his 5th studio album at the Avex recording studio, which is the exact same studio where he made 808s and Heartbreak. The next year, Taylor Swift was also gearing up to drop her 3rd album, Speak Now. On September 4th, 2010, Kanye West took to Twitter to issue an apology to Taylor Swift, with multiple tweets speaking on the incident, saying that he wrote a song for her. "I'm sorry, Taylor. It starts with this. I wrote a song for Taylor Swift that's so beautiful, and I want her to have it. If she won't take it, then I'll perform it for her. When I woke up from the crazy nightmare, I looked in the mirror and said, 'Grow up, Kanye. I take the responsibility for my actions. With newfound humility, who am I to run on stage? I would never ever again in a million years do that. Sorry to let you down.'" On September 12, 2010, the 2010 MTV VMAs were being held at the Nokia Theater in Los Angeles. Taylor Swift would perform a track called Innocent, and this track was a response to Kanye West. The song's theme was about a protagonist's encouragement of someone who has committed wrongdoings, claiming them to hold innocence and believing that they can redeem themselves. Throughout the track, Taylor Swift talks about the incident with Kanye, at some points sympathizing with him, then at some points mocking him, like when she said that Kanye is 32 years old and still growing up. Kanye's age at the time of the VMA incident was 32 years old. 32 and still growing up now. That same night, Kanye's 2nd single for his upcoming album would premiere, a track called Runaway. This track was Kanye recognizing that he's not perfect, and a public apology for his personality and the 2009 VMA stunt. This song is Kanye saying that he can't change the way he is. The world has to learn to live with Kanye or run away, as the title implies. The track would officially be released online on October 4th, 2010. On October 19th, 2010, Kanye appeared on The Ellen DeGeneres Show and opened up about the Taylor Swift incident.
Literally left America. I stopped doing music altogether. I just took some time. I went to Japan just so I can get away from paparazzi altogether. And then in November, I moved to Rome. Just for your whole world to completely crash off of a moment of sincerity or alcohol, whatever it is. I feel like in some ways like I'm a soldier of culture. And I realized that no one wants that to be my job, and I'll never go on stage again. I'll never sit in an award show again, but will I feel convicted about things that really meant stuff to culture that constantly get denied for years and years and years and years? I'm sorry. I will. I cannot lie about it in order to sell records.
A couple of days later, Kanye did an interview with Access Hollywood where he would say that Taylor Swift didn't deserve to win a Grammy for her album Fearless. Why are the last 4 albums of the year Taylor Swift, Dixie Chicks, Ray Charles, and Herbie Hancock? Like, with all due respect, that's inaccurate. The next month, on November 8th, 2010, Kanye did an interview with the Minnesota radio station KDWB, where he would actually backtrack his apology to Taylor Swift.
And then with my moment with Taylor, with this 12-year-old, 18-year-old girl, me cutting her off, it showed like a lack of compassion with everything she went to deserve this one moment that just shouldn't, that caused her to like go off and have 100 magazine covers and sell 1 million the first week. And no one wants to just sit and look at the reality. Let's just look at the 2 + 2 = 4. Okay, it's the best album. It's the best video of the year. No, it's the best video of the decade. The most influential, most memorable. You can't tell me anything that we remember more in the past 10 years. So the audacity of it losing anything, it should be like Lauryn Hill when she won all those Grammys. You just couldn't lose. It should be like, because guarantee if it was the other way around, and Taylor Swift was 15 years into the game and on her 40th video or 50th video, and she made the video of her career, do you think she would have lost to a brand new artist? Hell no. So, hey, I'm not pandering to deal with to try selling records to get people to like me more. Now, I would like people to like me because I'm likable.
Later that month, on November 22nd, 2010, Kanye dropped his 5th album, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. This was his first album since the 2009 MTV VMA incident. Despite all the controversy, the album would go on to be a massive success, selling over 496,000 copies in the first week, debuting at number 1 on the Billboard charts. This album is widely considered to be Kanye's best work to date. Just 2 days later, on November 24th, 2010, during a concert at the Bowery Ballroom in New York, Kanye would go on a huge rant on how people counted him out, but now he's going number 1 with this album and had some words for Taylor Swift, saying she never came to his defense in any interview.
To do an album right after the year that I had and after all your career is over and die and you'll never make music again, and to come back and do 100,000 the first day digital alone, to be slated to do 600,000 in the first week. And I don't talk about the numbers, but what that number says is that people want me to keep making music and for me to not give up. No radio singles, no number 1 record, no top 10 record. They had to reorder. They didn't order enough. We sold out in Chicago. They sold out at Best Buy on 14th Street tonight. They sold out. They said, oh, you ain't got no radio singles, so we estimate 250,000 the first week. Or what about the fact that we just don't like you? But I ain't here to do no mother politics. I'm here to make music. I'm not here to talk in no mother interviews. Nobody asked me no stupid ass questions. There was no way for me to justify the way people judge me. When you do things like what happened last year, it's disrespectful to everyone that's creative. It's a smack in the face to everyone who tries to do something real. If I wasn't drunk, I would have been on stage longer. But am I the only one that's not crazy here? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And then they run with it. They run with it. The reason why. And don't come and tell me about what I should do. I'm my own man. Sometimes you scream on it. Sometimes you gotta come back and say, you know, I screamed on you that time. My bad. Because look at this. Justice Taylor never came to my defense in any interview and rode the wave. And rode it and rode it. That's the way I rode the wave of the Bush comment.
Fast forward to May 3rd, 2011, on the red carpet at the Met Costume Institute Gala, Kanye and Taylor reportedly exchanged a casual down-low high five, so people were now thinking that this feud was squashed. The next year, on March 6th, 2012, Taylor Swift graced the cover of Australian magazine Harper's Bazaar. In the shoot, she could be seen wearing a shirt that was designed by Kanye West from his clothing label DW by Kanye West from the spring 2012 collection. Later that year, on October 25th, 2012, Taylor Swift did an interview with Rolling Stone where she revealed that she has a memento of the 2009 VMAs moment in her Nashville home. Above the fireplace, which is embolized with a small heart. There's even a photo of the moment Kanye stormed her VMA stage, captioned, "Life is full of little interruptions," a phrase that's also in the liner notes of her last album, right next to what is presumably the actual award in question, Under Glass. The next year, on June 11th, 2013, while on a promo run for his album Yeezus, Kanye did an interview with the New York Times, dubbed as Behind Kanye's Mask. During the interview, he was asked about the Taylor Swift incident, saying, "It's only led me to complete awesomeness at all times. It's only led me to awesome truth and awesomeness. Beauty, truth, awesomeness. That's all it is." Then the interviewer asked if he has no regrets, and he said that he doesn't have one regret. He was then asked if he'd take back the original action or the apology if given the chance, and he replied saying, "You know what? I can answer that, but I'm just not afraid. But I know that would be such a distraction. It's such a strong thing, and people have such a strong feeling about it. My beautiful dark twisted fantasy was my long backhanded apology. You know how people give a backhanded compliment? It was a backhanded apology. It was like all these raps, all these sonic acrobatics. I was like, let me show you guys what I can do, and please accept me back. You want to have me on your shelves." Then Kanye said that he apologized to Taylor Swift out of peer pressure. Later that summer, on August 21st, 2013, while Ed Sheeran and Taylor Swift were on tour, she gifted him a jam jar, and on the jar she would reference the Kanye VMA incident saying, "Yo Ed, I'm really happy for you, and I'm gonna let you finish." Fast forward to February 8th, 2015, at the 57th annual Grammys in LA, Kanye West and Taylor Swift were photographed together smiling and having a conversation with each other. The next day, Kanye sat down with Ryan Seacrest for an interview with On Air. During the interview, he revealed what Taylor Swift said to him when she walked up to him during the Grammys after Beck won Album of the Year over Beyonce.
Taylor Swift came up to me right afterwards, literally right afterwards, and tells me that I should have went on stage.
Now,
so this is the irony of my life.
On August 11th, 2015, Taylor Swift graced the cover of the Vanity Fair magazine, and during her cover interview, she revealed how her and Kanye learned to get along. "I feel like I wasn't ready to be friends with him until I felt like he had some sort of respect for me, and he wasn't ready to be friends with me until he had some sort of respect for me. So it was the same issue, and we both reached the same place at the same time. I became friends with Jay-Z, and I think it was important for Jay-Z, for Kanye, and I to get along. It started with both of us really liking Jay and wanting him to be happy, and then Kanye and I both reached a place where he would really say nice things about my music and what I've accomplished, and I can ask him how his kid's doing." Then she was asked if she and Kanye have a collaboration planned, and she responded saying, "Wouldn't rule it out. We haven't planned anything, but hey, I like him as a person, and that's a really good, nice first step, a nice place for us to be." Later that month, on August 30th, 2015, at the 2015 MTV VMAs, Taylor Swift presented Kanye the prestigious Video Vanguard Award. Taylor gave a speech on stage before giving Ye the award, where she spoke on their first encounter at the 2009 VMAs.
I first met Kanye West 6 years ago at this show, actually.
Then saying that The College Dropout was the first album her and her brother bought on iTunes when she was 12 years old.
Something that you may not know is that Kanye West's album, College Dropout, was the very first album that my brother and I ever bought on iTunes when I was 12 years old.
Then saying that Kanye had one of the greatest careers of all time.
I'm really happy for you, and I'm gonna let you finish. But Kanye West has had one of the greatest careers of all time.
During his acceptance speech, Kanye would thank Taylor for the words.
First of all, thank you Taylor, for being so gracious and giving me this award this evening. Thank you.
Then Kanye would proceed to go on a huge rant about award shows like MTV only pairing him and Taylor up for ratings. He then asks himself if he would go back and change what he did at the 2009 VMAs to Taylor Swift.
And I think if I had to do it all again, what would I have done? Would I have worn a leather shirt? Would I have drank half a bottle of Hennessy and gave the rest of it to the audience?
Then reveals that he was high on stage to take the edge off.
Y'all might be thinking right now, I wonder, did he smoke something before he came out here? The answer is yes. I rolled up a little something. I knocked the edge off.
Then announced that he would be running for president in the year of 2020. This would be followed up on September 4th, 2015, when Kanye sent Taylor flowers, to which Swift took to IG to write, "Kanye sent me the coolest flowers. Hashtag Conte 2020, hashtag BFFs." On February 11th, 2016, Kanye West was previewing his upcoming album, The Life of Pablo, at Madison Square Garden during the presentation of his Yeezy Season 3 clothing line. Kanye would preview a track called Famous, and on this was the infamous Taylor Swift line.
I feel like me and Taylor might still have why I made that famous.
Kanye would face immediate backlash for this line, with it being called distasteful and misogynistic for the way he worded it. Kanye would then take to Twitter to put out a plethora of tweets saying that he didn't diss Taylor and allegedly got her blessing to put those lyrics on the record during an hour-long phone call. "I did not diss Taylor Swift, and I've never dissed her. First thing is, I'm an artist, and as an artist, I will express how I feel with no censorship. Second thing, I asked my wife for her blessing, and she was cool with it. Third thing, I called Taylor and had an hour-long convo with her about the line, and she thought it was funny and gave her blessings. Fourth, is an endearing term in hip-hop, like the N-word. Fifth, I'm not even going to take credit for the idea. It's actually something Taylor came up with. She was having dinner with one of our friends, whose name I will keep out of this, and she told him, I can't be mad at Kanye because he made me famous. Hashtag facts." The next day, on February 12th, 2016, Taylor Swift's publicist, Tree Payne, would make a statement on IG regarding the line on Ye's song Famous, debunking Kanye's claim that he called Taylor for approval of the line. Kanye did not call for approval, but to ask Taylor to release his single Famous on her Twitter account. She declined and cautioned him about releasing a song with such a strong misogynistic message. Taylor was never made aware of the actual lyric, quote, "I made that famous." Taylor Swift's brother would respond on Instagram with a video of him throwing his Yeezys in the trash. On February 15th, 2016, at the 58th Annual Grammys, Taylor Swift would win multiple Grammys, with one being for Album of the Year for her album 1989. During her acceptance speech, she would diss Kanye when she said not to let anyone take credit for your fame, which is obviously referring to the line on Kanye's song Famous.
There are going to be people along the way who will try to undercut your success or take credit for your accomplishments or your fame.
A couple of days later, Kanye would appear on SNL to perform some songs from The Life of Pablo. During the pre-show, the NBC technicians tore out the shiny stage Ye had requested because it was reflecting the stage lights in a distracting way. This caused Kanye to flip out backstage, and during this, he would call out Taylor Swift. This whole moment would be recorded.
They took my stage off of SNL without asking me. Now I'm gone. That and Taylor Swift, fake.
A couple of months later, on April 8th, 2016, Kanye was performing at the Paradise Festival in the Philippines, where he would go on another rant on stage about the Taylor Swift VMA incident. This time, he says that was the beginning of the end of his life.
That night when I went on stage was the beginning or the end of my life.
2 months later, on June 16th, 2016, Kim Kardashian did an interview with GQ where she would piggyback from Kanye's claims that Taylor Swift had given her blessings for the line on Famous. She totally approved of that. She totally knew that was coming out. She wanted to all of a sudden act like she didn't. I swear, my husband gets so much for things when he really was doing proper protocol and even called to get it approved. What rapper would call a girl that he was rapping a line about to get approval? Totally gave the okay. Rick Rubin was there. So many respected people in the music business heard that conversation and knew. I mean, he's called me a bitch in his songs. That's just like what they say. I never once think, what a derogatory word. How dare he? Not in a million years. I don't know why she just, flipped all of a sudden. It was funny because on the call with Kanye, Taylor said, when I get on the Grammy red carpet, all the media is going to think that I'm so against this. And I'll just laugh and say, the joke's on you guys. I was in on it the whole time. And I'm like, wait, in your Grammy speech, you completely dissed my husband just to play the victim again. Kim would also say that she received a letter telling her not to release that footage of the phone call. Taylor Swift's rep would then make a statement saying that Kim and Kanye are incorrect about the phone call, claiming they spoke while she was on vacation in 2016, and that Kanye asked Taylor to release the song on her Twitter, which Taylor declined. Also claiming that Kanye never told Taylor he was going to use the term bitch when referring to her. On July 1st, 2016, Kanye West dropped the official music video for Famous, and in the video is a Taylor Swift wax figure look-alike next to a wax figure of Kanye himself. A couple of weeks later, on July 17th, 2016, on a new episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Kim would defend talking about Taylor in the feud with Kanye. That same day, Kim Kardashian took to Snapchat to post videos of the recorded phone call between Ye and Taylor, but she allegedly cut it up to make it sound like it was favoring her and Kanye. Taylor Swift would then take to social media to release a written statement on the situation saying, "Where is the video of Kanye telling me he was going to call me that bitch in his song? It doesn't exist because it never happened. You don't get to control someone's emotional response to being called that bitch in front of the entire world." Of course I wanted to like the song. I wanted to believe Kanye when he told me that I would love the song. I wanted us to have a friendly relationship. He promised to play the song for me, but he never did. While I wanted to be supportive of Kanye on the phone call, you cannot quote-unquote approve a song you haven't heard. Being falsely painted as a liar when I was never given the full story or played any part of the song is character assassination. I would very much like to be excluded from this narrative, one that I never asked to be a part of since 2009. And she would caption that post saying, "That moment when Kanye West secretly records your phone call, then Kim posts it on the internet." Kim would then send out a tweet that is suspected to be a shot at Taylor Swift saying, "Wait, it's legit National Snake Day? They have holidays for everybody. I mean, everything these days," with a ton of snake emojis. This would lead Kim and Kanye supporters to spam Taylor Swift's comment section with snake emojis, and the hashtag KimExposedTaylorParty started trending. After that, the beef would seemingly go quiet, and in 2017, Taylor Swift would begin the rollout for her album Reputation. During the rollout, she used a lot of snake imagery as a play on when Kim called her a snake. This move would make Taylor's fans begin flooding Kim's comment section with snake emojis and the word reputation. Taylor Swift would also take Kim's comments and turn it into merchandise as promo for her album with snakes on shirts, and even released snake rings, turning Kim's comments into millions of dollars in merchandise sales. After this, the beef would settle down for the remainder of 2017 and for the entirety of 2018. On January 15th, 2019, Kim would appear on Andy Cohen's Watch What Happens Live, and during the Squash That Beef segment, the host would ask her if she still has beef with Taylor Swift.
Kim, you and Taylor Swift, still a beef with Taylor after all that went down? No, squash. Over it. Good. And have you two had any communication, or you just feel like we've all moved on?
No, I feel like we've all moved on.
Okay.
That summer, on June 30th, 2019, news broke that Scooter Braun's Ithaca Holdings agreed to acquire Scott Borchetta's Big Machine label group, meaning that Braun would now own Taylor Swift's catalog that she released with the label Big Machine. Scooter Braun is actually really close friends with Kanye. Taylor Swift would take to Tumblr to release a statement about Scooter buying her masters for her first 6 albums, and would also call out Scooter for allegedly manipulating and bullying her. During this, she would bring up Kanye and Kim. The incessant, manipulative bullying I've received at Braun's hands for years, like when Kim Kardashian orchestrated an illegally recorded snippet of a phone call to be leaked, and then Scooter got his 2 clients together to bully me online about it. Now, Scooter has stripped me of my life's work that I wasn't given an opportunity to buy. Essentially, my musical legacy is about to lie in the hands of someone who tried to dismantle it. Later that summer, on August 23rd, 2019, Taylor Swift dropped her 7th album, Lover. The physical version of the deluxe edition came with excerpts from her diary, and one of the excerpts was her reaction to Kanye crashing her VMA moment in 2009. She wrote the entry on September 18th, 2009, which was 5 days after the VMAs. She wrote, quote, things that can change in a week. Let's just say if you had told me Kanye West would have been the #1 focus of my week, the media, and my part in the VMAs, I would have looked at you cross-eyed. And if you had told me that one of the biggest stars in music was going to jump on stage and announce that he thought I shouldn't have won on live television, I would have said that stuff doesn't really happen in real life. Well, apparently it does. The next month, on September 18th, 2019, Taylor Swift did an interview with the Rolling Stone where she would speak on the events that led up to Kanye's line on Famous and talks about their relationship since the VMA incident, referring to Kanye as two-faced. The world didn't understand the context and the events that led up to it, because nothing ever just happens like that without some lead up. Some events took place to cause me to be pissed off when he called me a bitch. That was not just a singular event. Basically, I got really sick of the dynamic between he and I, and that wasn't just based on what happened on that phone call and with that song. It was kind of a chain reaction of things. When someone doesn't respect you so loudly and says you literally don't deserve to be here, I just so badly wanted that respect from him, and I hate that about myself, that I was like, this guy who's antagonizing me, I just want his approval. But that's where I was, and so we'd go to dinner and stuff. He could be the sweetest, and I was so stoked that he asked me that. And so I wrote this speech up, and then we get to the VMAs, and I make this speech, and he screams, MTV got Taylor Swift up here to present me this award for ratings. His exact words. And I'm standing in the audience with my arm around his wife, and this chill ran through my body, and I realized he is so two-faced, that he wants to be nice to me behind the scenes, but then he wants to look cool, get up in front of everyone and talk shit, and I was so upset. So obviously Taylor Swift was upset with Kanye's rant at the 2015 VMAs when Taylor Swift presented him that award. So when he gets on the phone with me, and I was so touched that he would be respectful and like tell me about this one line in the song, and I was like, okay, good, we're back on good terms. And then when I heard the song, I was like, I'm done with this. If you want to be on bad terms, let's be on bad terms, but just be real about it. Then Taylor would compare her and Kanye's situation to Kanye and Drake's falling out when Kanye was the one who allegedly told Pusha T about Drake's child. And then he literally did the same thing to Drake. He gravely affected the trajectory of Drake's family and their lives. It's the same thing. Getting close to you, earning your trust, detonating you. Go watch Drake talk about what happened. After this, it was now clear that Kanye and Taylor Swift were still not on good terms, and everything was about to reignite in 2020. On March 21st, 2020, the full video of Kanye and Taylor Swift's phone call would leak. This phone call would reveal that Kanye actually never got permission from Taylor to use the line on Famous. During the conversation, Kanye is clearly avoiding telling Taylor the line in the song and ultimately never tells her the full line that he ended up using.
I don't think anybody would listen to that and be like, oh, that's a real diss. Like, she must be crying about that line. And I think because of how crazy and strange and fateful the way we met was. I think we have to pick our moments to like do stuff together and make sure it's only really cool stuff.
Okay, now what if later in the song I was also to have said, I made her famous? Is that did you
say that?
Yes, it might have happened.
Oh my god. Well, what am I gonna do about it?
Do the hair flip.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of like whatever at this point.
Yeah.
Well, is it gonna be mean?
No, I don't think it's mean.
Okay, then let me hear it.
Okay. It says, and the funny thing is, when I first played it and my wife heard it, she was like, huh? What? That's too crazy, blah, blah, blah. And then like when Ninja from D Antwoord heard it, he was like, oh my God, this is the craziest shit. This is why I love Kanye, blah, 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 that kind of thing. And now it's like my wife's favorite line. I just want to give you some premise of that, right? Okay. So it says, to all my South Side that know me best, I feel like Taylor Swift might owe me.
Headlines would speculate if Kanye actually broke the law by illegally recording Taylor Swift, with Kim Kardashian potentially being charged with willfully disclosing the contents of a private phone call without the permission of all the parties involved, which can be penalized by a year in a California state prison and a fine up to $5,000. Taylor Swift would then take to Instagram to address the leaks, saying, instead of answering those who are asking how I feel about the video footage that leaked, proving that I was telling the truth the whole time about that call, you know, the one that was illegally recorded, that somebody edited and manipulated in order to frame me and put me, my family, and fans through hell for 4 years. 2 days later, on the night of March 23rd, 2020, Kim would take to Twitter to respond to Taylor with multiple tweets. At Taylor Swift 13 has chosen to reignite an old exchange that at this point in time feels very self-serving given the suffering millions of real victims are facing right now. I didn't feel the need to comment a few days ago, and I'm actually really embarrassed and mortified to be doing it right now, but because she continues to speak on it, I feel like I'm left without a choice but to respond because she is actually lying. To be clear, the only issue I ever had around the situation was that Taylor lied through her publicist, who stated that Kanye never called to ask for permission. They clearly spoke, so I let you all see that. Nobody ever denied the word was used without her permission. At the time when they spoke, the song had not been fully written yet, but as everyone can see in the video, she manipulated the truth of their actual conversation in her statement when her team said she declined and cautioned him about releasing a song with such a strong misogynistic message. The lie was never about the word bitch. It was always whether there was a call or not, and the tone of the conversation. I never edited the footage. Another lie. I only posted a few clips on Snapchat to make my point, and the full video that recently leaked doesn't change the narrative. To add, Kanye as an artist has every right to document his musical journey and process, just like she recently did through her documentary. Kanye has documented the making of all of his albums for his personal archive, however has never released any of it for public consumption, and the call between the two of them would have remained private or would have gone in the trash had she not lied and forced me to defend him. This will be the last time I speak on this, because honestly, nobody cares. Sorry to bore you all with this. I know you are all dealing with more serious and important matters. A few minutes after Kim's tweets, her sister Chloe would even chime in, defending Kim, saying she saw her tweets and calls Kim her new lawyer. About an hour later, Taylor's publicist Tree Payne would respond to Kim, posting her original unedited statement that we read earlier, saying, I'm Taylor's publicist and this is my unedited original statement. By the way, when you take parts out, that's editing. P.S. Who did you guys piss off to leak that video? On September 18th, 2020, Kanye would actually defend Taylor against Scooter when he would tweet about trying to get her masters back. I'm gonna personally see to it that Taylor Swift gets her masters back. Scooter is a close family friend. After this, the beef would go quiet for several years, but fast forward all the way to December 6th, 2023. Taylor Swift was named Person of the Year as she graced the cover of Time magazine. During her cover story interview, she would reflect on the whole phone call situation with Kim and Kanye. "You have a fully manufactured frame job in an illegally recorded phone call, which Kim Kardashian edited and then put out to say to everyone that I was a liar. That took me down psychologically to a place that I've never been before. I moved to a foreign country. I didn't even leave a rental house for a year. I was afraid to get on phone calls. I pushed away most people in my life because I didn't trust anyone anymore. I went down really, really hard. I thought that moment of backlash was going to define me negatively for the rest of my life." The next year, on February 15th, 2024, Kanye West would go on an Instagram rant directed at Taylor Swift fans after a Taylor Swift fan page urged followers to stream Beyonce's new single, Texas Hold'em, to prevent Ye and Ty Dolla $ign's track, Carnival, from going #1. Ye would repost this and go on a rant in the caption directed at Taylor's fans, saying, "When I said I'm the new Jesus, I wasn't even thinking about Taylor Swift. That was a whole line before, but I appreciate the free promo. Lil Wayne actually mentions Travis Kelce on Vultures too. Remember, I was on Taylor's side when Scooter bought her masters behind her back. She and Beyonce are big inspirations to all musicians. We always see how both sell out tours and movies." Later that year, on August 3rd, 2024, Kanye and Ty Dolla $ign dropped their collaboration project, Vultures 2. On the track Lifestyle featuring Lil Wayne, on his verse, Lil Wayne did in fact reference Taylor Swift and her boyfriend, who is the tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs, Travis Kelce. After that, nothing else was said on both sides, but you can believe that Kanye and Taylor Swift will be bumping heads for the rest of their careers. In the mid-2000s, a kid from Toronto, Canada named Aubrey Graham decided to quit acting and pursue rap music under the rap name Drake. Growing up, Drake idolized Kanye West and saw him as a huge inspiration. Drake dropped his debut mixtape Room for Improvement on February 14th, 2006. On September 1st, 2007, Drake followed up with his second mixtape, Comeback Season, and on this mixtape was a track called Barry Bonds Freestyle, which Drake rapped over the beat to Ye's track Barry Bonds from his album Graduation. That fall, Drake dropped another freestyle over a Kanye beat. This time, it was the beat for Swagger Like Us. Around this time, Kanye and Drake would meet for the first time in Hawaii, where the interaction would be very short. Kanye was working on music in Hawaii at the time in 2008. While it is unclear exactly when these two met, it's speculated to be during the 808s and Heartbreak sessions. In 2009 would be where these two would officially begin working with each other. Drake kicked off the year by dropping his breakout project So Far Gone on February 13th, 2009. This mixtape catapulted Drake into a star, and after that, Drake was without a doubt the hottest rapper in the world. The track Say What's Real from this mixtape was actually a remix of Kanye's track called Say You Will from his album 808s and Heartbreak. This mixtape would immediately begin to draw comparison to Kanye's 808s and Heartbreak album. As Drake was becoming a megastar, it's no surprise that he would finally get the attention of Kanye West. On May 23rd, 2009, Kanye West would take to his now deleted blog, KanyeUniverseCity.com, where he would publicly praise Drake for his lyrics on the track Every Girl, saying, "Drake said, 'Do you like girls?' I do. Let's be honest. Best line of the year." Kanye would follow up by attending one of Drake's shows in New York. A couple of days later, on May 27th, 2009, Drake did an interview with MTV News where he would speak on Kanye West, describing him as the most influential person, saying, "Before I ever got the chance to meet him, Kanye West shaped a lot of what I do as far as music goes. We always took the time to listen to Kanye's music and appreciate it beyond. We search the samples and we find out where his inspiration came from, because he has one of the best ears in music, period. He knows how to recognize great music that's not his. He knows how to utilize great sounds and great music. So before I met him, I had the utmost respect for Kanye West. I'd even go as far as to say he's the most influential person as far as a musician that I've ever had in my life." Later on in the interview, Drake would react to Kanye's praise on his blog post. I feel like it's funny because that's something he might have said. It's an honor. He's even looking at me as somewhat of an equal, somewhat of a peer. I think he's one of the greatest to ever do it. The next month, on June 25th, Jamie Foxx dropped the remix to his track Digital Girl, to which both Drake and Kanye appeared on the track. This would be the first time that Drake and Kanye would appear on the same track. A week later, on July 1st, 2009, the music video to Drake's track Best I Ever Had was released. This music video was actually directed by Kanye West himself. After the release of this music video, Best I Ever Had peaked at number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100, as Drake was now a certified megastar. Later that summer, on August 27th, 2009, the legendary track Forever was released, which obviously included Drake and Kanye West appearing on the same track once again. This track would be on the soundtrack to the LeBron James More Than a Game documentary. The next year, in 2010, Drake was gearing up for the release of his debut album, Thank Me Later. On April 28th, 2010, the second single for the album was released to radio, a track called Find Your Love. This track would end up dropping as a single a week later. The track was actually co-written and co-produced by Kanye. It's rumored that the track was a leftover from 808s and Heartbreak, and another rumor is that the track was originally intended for Rihanna. On June 15th, 2010, Drake dropped his debut studio album, Thank Me Later, which would go on to sell over 447,000 copies within the first week, debuting at number 1 on the Billboard 200, cementing Drake as the biggest rapper in the world. And it would be around this time that tensions between Drake and Kanye would begin brewing, as Drake rose to popularity, ultimately surpassing Kanye. This is when Kanye would begin to feel threatened by Drake's success. During the summer of 2010, a snippet for a Kanye song called Ghetto University, that we would later know as All of the Lights Would Get Out, to which the snippet had a Drake verse on it. In September 2010, Drake was seen all over Miami with Kanye's ex-girlfriend Amber Rose, and rumors began to make the rounds that these two were now a couple. It was revealed that they were on a private dinner at Prime 112 in Miami. Later that year, on November 22nd, 2010, Kanye dropped his album My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, and the track All of the Lights would appear on this album. Kanye seemingly removed Drake's verse from the official release of the track. A couple of weeks later, on December 9th, 2010, Drake appeared on Shade 45's morning show to speak with Elliott Wilson. During the interview, Wilson would ask Drake about being left off of All of the Lights, to which Drake said, "Kanye's creative process is ever changing. We make music differently. I make what comes to me, and I hate changing it, whereas Ye will change something 30 or 40 times to get it perfect. To each their own, and the change was to put all those people on it, and I wasn't one of them. That's completely okay." In 2011 is where this beef would really start taking off. But first, let's backtrack to July 21st, 2010. Drake did an interview with Tim Westwood where he discussed potentially dropping a collab album with Lil Wayne.
It all seems to be aiming towards is the joint album, the ultimate collab.
Yeah. You're talking about the real deal.
The real deal.
Talking about the me and Wayne.
Exactly. That's the only thing on our minds. I mean,
Okay.
obviously, we've got your album to deal with first.
Yeah,
We're not
first.
rushing anything.
And you got Carter 4 to deal
Yes,
with first.
exactly.
But after that,
We're not rushing. We're just
after
looking at the trilogy, baby.
yeah, no, it's all good. You know, that's good. That's going down. That's official.
how
We
you
talked
feel?
about it when I went up there too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In late 2010, rumors were making the rounds that Kanye West and Jay-Z were going to drop their own collaborative album. This would later be confirmed, and the official name was Watch the Throne. The recording sessions would begin in November of 2010, which was only 4 months after Drake's interview with Tim Westwood, where he discussed a collab album with Lil Wayne. On January 20th, 2011, Drake did another interview with Tim Westwood where he would accuse Kanye and Jay-Z of copying him and Lil Wayne's idea for a collab album.
I mean, you know that we still got to do that album.
Yes, you've still got to do
Heard
that
some
album.
other guys are coming out with the album too. There's 2 other guys that are coming out together. 2 other rappers that are coming out with an album together. I don't know where they got that idea, but
Fast forward to May 20th, 2011, DJ Khaled dropped a track called I'm On One with Drake, Rick Ross, and Lil Wayne. On his verse, it's speculated that Drake dissed Kanye and Jay-Z when he referenced Watch the Throne.
I'm just feeling like the throne is for the taking. Watch me take it.
Now, if you guys want a deeper look into Drake and Jay-Z's subliminal battle, make sure to check out my video, Drake versus Jay-Z, What Happened. I'll leave the link in the description. Later that year, in October of 2011, Drake appeared on the cover of the Source magazine where he did an interview. During the interview, Drake spoke on Kanye, where he said that his goal is to surpass everything Kanye has done. It's an honor. When I was a kid trying to figure out what I liked, it was Ye who I related to the most. He was an artist in every sense, from his cover art to his music. Now I would say he is a really great competitor and friend at the same time. My goal is to surpass everything he's accomplished. I don't want to be as good as Kanye, I want to be better. On August 5th, 2013, Drake would bring out Kanye at the 2013 OVO Fest, where Kanye would give a speech at the show where he admitted that himself and Jay-Z wouldn't have dropped Watch the Throne if Drake wasn't applying so much pressure.
Me and Ho would have never made Watch the Throne if this wasn't putting pressure on us like that.
The next day, Drake did an interview with MTV News saying that bringing Kanye out at OVO Fest was the most important moment of his career, and he said that Kanye is his favorite artist. Later that month, on August 30th, Drake sat down with Billboard for an interview where he would speak on his relationship with Kanye. Me and Ye just fell into this thing where we hadn't actually talked to each other in so long that all this stuff got built up. Sometimes you just have to find the opportunity to tell someone that you really like and respect them. After that, everything can move forward. Hopefully we give the world what they want, because I know they want it. I know me and Ye could do some crazy together. On February 13th, 2014, Drake did an interview with the Rolling Stone where he started off the interview praising Kanye, but then Drake allegedly dissed him in the interview when he would diss Kanye's song I'm In It off his album Yeezus for having a questionable bar. There was some real questionable bars on there, like that Swagili line. Come on, man. Even Fabulous wouldn't say some like that. Now, after this interview got out, Drake took to Twitter to immediately claim that he never actually commented on Yeezus in this interview, saying, quote, I never commented on Yeezus for my interview portion of Rolling Stone. They also took my cover from me last minute and ran the issue. I'm done doing interviews for magazine. I just want to give my music to the people. That's the only way my message gets across accurately. So Drake was claiming that Rolling Stone just made this whole thing up for press. Kanye, of course, caught wind of this, so just 2 days later, during a concert in Newark, New Jersey, Kanye responded to the controversy on stage, where he was actually on Drake's side, saying that magazines are always trying to pit artists against each other.
Hey, sidebar, you keep on talking about Drake and shit, and I'm gonna tell you what it is in the magazines. They always be trying to pit against each other, and that ain't going down no more. So tonight, it ain't none of that. We love Drake, we love every mother that put their heart to this mother music. If anything, we gonna go after mother writing that negativity. It's because before they print some shit like that, they need to check with me and him and see if it's okay for they get ran up in their office.
Later that year, on December 5th, 2014, footage of Drake in the studio was uploaded to YouTube. And in this footage, Drake says that Kanye doesn't send him beats anymore and speaks more on how Ye pissed him off.
And Kanye, I can't talk about that. I ain't playing with my emotions, man. Kanye gonna piss me off, man, for real. That phone call you just had pissed me off. What? The fact that nigga wanted to do an international attack, but he told me some whole other shit the other day about, oh, he can't do no more beats for my album or something like that because he's too busy.
Oh, he about to We don't need that. Don't feel like you need that just because they are the guys and they are
But you know that's not why I feel that way. If he wasn't working on his own project right now and had it and found it in himself to give me what he knows he should give me, you know those would probably be some of the biggest records on the album.
They not gonna give it to you. They not gonna let you breathe. He coming out of the album. He don't want you to live.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying? This is a competition. This is yeah, we love each other than that, but you felt it. You know what I'm saying?
Nah,
You felt it. You felt it. He just out there admitted, look.
I love him. He's an idol to me. He
Yeah,
don't, that
you know what I'm
nigga don't
saying?
love me at all.
It's competition though, you know. It's competition. It's his ego. It's competition.
On January 29th, 2015, Kanye West and Drake both appeared on Big Sean's track Blessings. So at this point, it was kind of an on and off friendship between the two. A couple of weeks later, on February 13th, 2015, Drake brought out Kanye at a show at Irving Plaza in New York City, where Kanye would give Drake a pair of Yeezy Boosts and Drake would call Kanye his mentor. A week later, on February 20th, Kanye West appeared on The Breakfast Club where he would speak on Drake and actually hinted a possible collaboration album between the two.
Where the Wolf song came from. The Wolf song, I'm just going ahead and say it, and because maybe this will promote it happening, so I'm going to go ahead and put it out in the real world. The Wolf song came from a conversation that me and Drake had where we was going to do an album together, and the album is called Wolves.
The next month, on March 12th, 2015, Kanye West did an interview with Click where he once again spoke on Drake, saying that he's an amazing sparring partner.
You know, major hit makers and stuff, and just, I look at Drake as like an amazing sparring partner.
On June 15th, 2015, Kanye West was seen at Drake's backyard party. On June 20th, Drake and Ye were spotted together attending Hot 107.9's official birthday bash in Atlanta. Later that summer, on August 3rd, 2015, Kanye would make his return at the 2015 OVO Fest. Everything seemed to be cool on the forefront, and on December 31st, 2015, Kanye West dropped the track Facts. And on this track, Kanye compliments Drake when he speaks on his deal with Nike.
If Nike ain't had Drizzy, man, they wouldn't have nothing. Woo!
A month later is where this friendship would take a complete turn for the worse. On January 30th, 2016, Drake dropped his track Summer 16, and on this track, Drake would take a jab at Kanye when he said that his pool is bigger than Kanye's, which was actually a proven fact.
Now I got a house in LA, now I got a bigger pool than Ye. And look, man, Ye's pool is nice, mine's just big is what I'm saying.
A couple of days later, on February 4th, 2016, Kanye called in for an interview with Big Boy where he would respond to Drake's line on Summer 16, saying that he actually has 3 pools.
Being that we do have you on the phone, I got to ask you this, and keep this 1,000 with me, Kanye. Is Drake's pool really bigger than yours, Kanye?
I have 3 pools.
All right.
That's it. That's my answer.
That's it. I got you. Okay. 3 pools, ladies and gentlemen. The man Kanye said he got 3 pools.
On February 14th, Kanye West would drop his album The Life of Pablo, to which the track 30 Hours was co-written by Drake. On this album was a track called Wolves, to which the next month, in March of 2016, a version of this track with Drake ended up leaking, but on the final version, Drake was once again removed from the track, marking the second time that Kanye decided to remove Drake from a track of his. A couple of days later, on February 20th, 2016, TMZ reported that Kanye West and Kim Kardashian were tearing up their old pool to build a lake-sized pool. Kanye did this just to one-up Drake. On April 5th, 2016, Drake dropped a track called Pop Style, featuring The Throne, with Kanye West and Jay-Z being listed as The Throne. Later that month, on April 29th, Drake dropped his album Views, and the track Pop Style would appear on this album, but this time, Drake would be the one who removed Kanye and Jay-Z from the track. Now, the single version that was exclusive on iTunes would keep the Throne duo, but the album version obviously did not have them on the track. This was speculated to be a get back to when Kanye did that to Drake twice, on All of the Lights and on Wolves. Kanye would debunk this rumor on his St. Pablo tour later that year when he said that him and Jay-Z did not appear on the final version of the track out of respect for Meek Mill and due to a dispute between Apple and Tidal. That same day, Drake sat down with OVO Sound Radio for an interview where he would speak on Kanye, saying that they were supposed to do a mixtape together.
We had plans, but we were supposed to do a mixtape together, an album together. So maybe we'll get that done.
Drake goes on to say that Kanye is one of his favorite people when he talks about being neighbors with Kanye.
Ye's one of my favorite people, period.
On August 1st, 2016, Kanye West once again made an appearance at OVO Fest, and this time he would tease a joint album with Drake.
This city is responsible for a lot of the reason why I'm on this stage, but this man alone is also responsible for the reason that I'm on this stage. My biggest inspiration right here. Y'all make some noise for the legendary, my brother, my family. Don't ever get it twisted. Please make some noise. 2 OVO Fests in a row now. Kanye West, man. And what my brother was asking you before was, are you ready if we make an album? That's what he was asking you. One more time for my brother Yeezy.
On August 22nd, 2016, Ye would put out a tweet simply saying Glow, which was rumored to be the name of their joint album, but this was just the name of a collab track that would end up dropping in 2017 on Drake's More Life project. On August 29th, 2016, a billboard in LA was spotted reading Calabasas is the new Abu Dhabi, with the OVO logo and the Good Music logo appearing at the bottom, which further teased the collab album. The next day, Kanye actually played Pop Style at a concert, and he would ask the crowd if they're ready for the album. On November 7th, 2016, Drake posted a photo with him and Ye, captioned, "There goes the neighborhood." Later that month, on November 19th, during a show of the St. Pablo tour in Sacramento, Kanye notoriously performed 3 songs, went on a crazy rant, and left the arena. During this rant, he would diss DJ Khaled and Drake when he accused them of paying for radio play for their track For Free, which dropped earlier in 2016.
Khaled and Drake, is it just me? Or did you hear that song so many times you say you want to pay it for free?
In February 2017, Drake sat down for an interview with DJ Semtex where he would respond to Kanye's rant.
Just come together and make music. It's gone from label politics. Is it digital politics now that prevents things from happening?
I don't know. I think everybody has their own little things going on. I'm not really sure what he's referring to half the time, because in the same breath, I went from being like working on a project with him to him sort of like publicly on me and DJ Khaled for being on the radio too much, and
it's not a bad thing.
Yeah, obviously. But yeah, I'm not really sure. Like, everybody's got their own thing going on. And, again, me, when I hear that, I just like, I just distance myself from it. Like, all right, if that's what it is, I don't really even understand the point you're trying to make, but, whatever it is that you're going through, I accept it. I don't respect it at all, because I feel like me and Khaled are both just like good people. I'm not really sure why we're the target of your choice that you made that night. But again, I accept what you're going through, and I just go and continue working on my own thing. And the more and more this progresses, the more and more I just feel like keeping to myself, because it's just so unpredictable. You never know like which way people are gonna go. So.
The next month, on March 18th, 2017, Drake dropped his project More Life, which contained the track Glow on it with Kanye. During this time, Drake and Kanye's Good Music artist, Pusha T, were going back and forth. Drake dropped a track called Two Birds, One Stone, where he would take subliminal jabs at Pusha, questioning his street credibility. During this time, Drake and Ye were closely working together, and according to Drake, in his interview on LeBron James' The Shop, Kanye sent him the beat for Lift Yourself to begin working on it, telling Drake he can have it. After that, Ye invited Drake and his producer, Homie 40, to Wyoming to work on music together. This is when Kanye told Drake that if he wants to work with him, then Drake has to be more transparent with him and tell him all types of personal information. Drake would then tell him when he's dropping.
But in order to do that, you've got to be transparent with me, and you've got to play me your music, and you've got to tell me when you're dropping, and I know you don't like to do things like that. So I played him my music, and I told him when I was dropping.
How much of Scorpion did you have done by then?
Maybe like 60% or something.
Got it.
And also showed him a picture of his son that he had not revealed to the world at this time. And he revealed to Kanye that he was having issues with his son's mother.
By the way, I'm in Wyoming. I play him March 14th. I send him a picture of my son.
Oh my God.
I tell him I'm having trouble with my son's mother. We had a conversation. I shared my...
In April 2018, Drake took to Instagram to announce that his album Scorpion was dropping in June. Kanye would then take to Twitter the next day to announce that his album Ye was also dropping in June, along with several other good music projects throughout the summer. Drake confirmed in his The Shop interview that this did in fact bother him, that good music was taking up his release month. So perhaps Kanye was trying to sabotage Drake's release month.
He just told me he wanted to work on, he just told me he wanted to give me beats, and he said he wasn't dropping till like October, November, or something like that. I wake up and all these dates are out one by one, all around June 15th, by the way. One's May 31st, one's June, whatever.
On April 25th, 2018, Kanye West, out of nowhere, dropped the track Lift Yourself, where he infamously rapped Poopity Scoop over the beat, clearly just as a mock to Drake, because he actually gave Drake that beat. Drake now realized that Kanye was trolling him and would now begin to distance himself from Kanye and all of his antics.
And then from there it was all good, you know. He played me like this.
He played you a beat, right?
He played me Lift Yourself, and he was like, yo, you can have this if you want. And I was hype. I started writing to it, and then he...
Whoopity scoop, scoop-dee-dee whoop, whoop-dee scoop-dee poop, poop-dee scoop-dee...
Lift Yourself comes out with him just talking nonsense. This guy's trolling me. Yeah, this was like a manipulative, like, I want to break you thing. So I said, all right, I'm going to go back to distancing myself again.
On May 25th, 2018, Pusha T dropped his track Infrared, where he would infamously diss Drake for allegedly having ghostwriters and more subliminal disses throughout the track. Drake responded that same day with a track called Duppy Freestyle, taking shots at Pusha T. On this track, Drake claps back at Pusha T's ghostwriting accusations by saying that he actually wrote for Kanye.
I've done things for him I thought that he never would need. Father had to stretch his hands out and get it from me.
Now this is when Ye would get involved, when he was dragged in this beef by Drake, when he heard Drake taking shots at him on wax. Pusha T retweeted the song, writing, "Send the invoice for the extra 20, to which Drake would take to Instagram to post a photo of the invoice to $100,000 made out to Good Music for, quote, promotional assistance and career reviving. The next day, Rhymefest publicly appealed Drake to donate to Donda's House, which was a non-profit organization that he co-founded with Kanye, after Kanye refused to donate. On May 29th, 2018 is where this beef would take a bad turn for the worse. That morning on Hot 97's morning show, Ebro claims that Kanye was originally on Drake's track Nice for What.
There's supposedly Kanye was supposed to be on Nice for What, or there's a version of Nice for What with Kanye. We may never hear.
That evening, Pusha T dropped a diss track directed at Drake called The Story of Adidon, in response to Drake's Duppy Freestyle, and the song is known for Pusha T exposing Drake's child Adonis to the world. Fans were confused on where Pusha T actually got this information from, and if you remember, Drake actually told Kanye about his son, so immediately Drake was speculating that Kanye told Pusha T all of this information to use against him. In August of that year, Kanye West stopped by 107.5 for an interview and would debunk the rumors that he had given Drake this information when he was asked about it.
Can you clear up this one thing though, because I guess some people, the perception is where did Pusha T get the information for the diss song, this song to Drake?
Don't even pull me.
I'm not pulling you. That's why I'm asking you.
No, I'm not saying. I'm saying
right.
Two people.
Right.
Don't pull me into that type of conversation. That's what y'all don't even understand. It's like.
So you didn't give Pusha T the information?
No, I didn't. But
okay.
what, like,
don't pull me into this conversation. Like, I'm Ye. I got major things to do other than be telling him some information about Drake. You know
feel
what I mean?
Like that's gossipy.
Yeah, I don't sit around and do that. Like, I honestly don't care that much, in all honesty, bro.
Right.
Like,
on June 1st, 2018, Ye dropped his album, Ye. And on the track, No Mistakes, it's speculated that he sent shots back at Drake when he said this.
Too bold to type you, too rich to fight you. Calm down, you light skin.
During this time, it's speculated that Drake had recorded a response diss track to Kanye and Pusha T, but it actually never ended up releasing. According to a close friend of Drake and Rap-A-Lot CEO, Jay Prince, he claims that this diss track was so crazy that it would have ruined Kanye and Drake's life, so that's why he claims Drake never released it. One of the reasonings for the rumors of this diss track being so bad was that Drake allegedly had an affair with Kanye's wife at the time, Kim Kardashian, so it's rumored that Drake most likely aired this out on the track, but that is all just speculation.
I saw this going in a place that I feel would have ended his career if Drake would have put out the song that he had on him, and definitely would have hurt families, and you know what I mean, and we not in it for that.
Later that month, on June 29th, 2018, Drake dropped his album Scorpion, and on this album was a track called March 14, which was a song where Drake actually discussed the existence of his child Adonis. About a week after this, a Rolling Stone article with a longtime Kanye collaborator revealed that Kanye actually may have heard Drake's March 14 before Pusha T even dropped the story of Adidon, implying further that Ye may be responsible for giving the info to Pusha T. I was not there, but I do know that story. Drake played early versions of those songs and so on and so forth. You gotta be careful how you move. I know. You gotta be careful how you move, what you say to people, what gets out, and the whole 9 yards. On this album was a track called In My Feelings, where on the chorus, Drake infamously rapped this.
Kiki, do you love me?
Now, fans speculate that Drake was actually talking about Kim Kardashian, being that Kiki is one of her alleged nicknames, further adding fuel to the already burning fire that Drake and Kim had an affair whilst Kim was married to Kanye. The track 8 out of 10 is also believed to have subliminals directed at Kanye. On the intro, Drake starts off by responding to Kanye's line on his track No Mistakes when he said he's too rich to fight with Drake.
Too rich for who? Y'all just got rich again. Who grips the mic and likes to kill their friends?
Drake goes on to hint at sleeping with Kim K on the chorus when he referenced someone's wifey repeatedly.
Your wifey, your wifey, your wifey, your wifey.
About a week later, on June 7th, 2018, Drake was in London where he would freestyle on British rap platform called Link Up TV. On his freestyle, it's speculated that he once again took jabs at Kanye West. He starts off by saying that if he sees him in person, Ye will look like he's seeing a ghost, and references Pusha T's diss track and how Jay Prince told Drake allegedly not to respond.
Seeing him in person, I'm seeing a ghost. They told me relax as they're taking control. Take all that up with P and his bro. I wish you the best, let me know how it goes.
Drake says that he knows so much he can't expose, possibly referring to the Kim K affair once again.
I know so much that I cannot expose. I keep it inside and I laugh on my own. Got all the tea and I'm hotting it up.
On the second verse, Drake goes on to say that Ye is too worried about selling shoes. Drake then says that Ye is all bark, but he's a cat.
All that bark, but we know he's a cat. I don't really like going tit for tat. I'ma just come like tat tat tat. I'ma just end that there, that's that.
Fast forward to August 3rd, 2018. Travis Scott dropped his album Astroworld, and on this album was a track called Sicko Mode featuring Drake. On this track, Drake would infamously diss Kanye West. He starts off by saying that he has scores to settle and talks about creeping the block and making a right. Now, if you look on the map, Drake's mansion is actually just a right turn away from Kanye's mansion, so this is a clear reference to Drake pulling up to Ye's crib.
And I still got scores to settle, man. I crept down the block, made a right, cut the lights, paid the price, yeah, it's on sight.
Drake would go on to say checks over stripes, which is Drake saying Nike over Adidas. It also made sense that Drake said this because Travis Scott also has a deal with Nike, So Drake is using this to once again diss Kanye.
Checks over stripes, yeah, lost my respect. You not a threat.
On August 18th, 2018, while Drake was performing his song Know Yourself, he would change the lyrics on stage to diss Kanye.
Then Kanye dropped it was polos and backpacks.
Then Kanye dropped it was polos and backpacks.
A couple of weeks later, on September 4th, 2018, a snippet of a track with Drake and French Montana called No Stylist ended up leaking. On this snippet, Drake took more shots at Ye when he would diss the Yeezy 350 sneakers.
Keeping it G, I told her don't win no 350s around me.
The next day, on September 5th, Kanye would go on his infamous Twitter apology tirade where he would apologize to Drake. Let me start by apologizing for stepping on your release date in the first place. So right there, Kanye literally admitted to trying to sabotage Drake's Scorpion release date. We were building a bond and working on music together, including squashing the issues with Cudi at our office, playing Taxing for Takeoff because we spoke about doing Lift Yourself together. I should have given you the opportunity for us to do this together before I released it. Since we were building as friends and brothers, I should have spoken to Pusha about the Quentin Miller bar. There should have been no songs with my involvement that had any negative energy towards you. I understand Pusha's issues as a man. If someone mentions your fiance, men go mask off. I've done the same myself at a time. I love you and I love Pusha, and we all have admiration for each other's craft. I did not have any conversations about your child with Pusha. I don't play with the idea of people's children after I spoke to Wiz a few years earlier. A few weeks later, Kanye would then post a video addressing the rumors of Drake allegedly smashing Kim Kardashian, and he would further address Drake.
Now the next thing is with Drake. Yeah, I told you that now if I wasn't in a medicated state, I might have thought and had the wherewithal to say, hey Pusha, don't diss Drake on my beat. And I spoke about that and took accountability for that. Now what I'm looking for my spirit to take accountability is the fact that it's people making rumors or thinking that you f my wife and you're not saying nothing and you carrying it like that don't sit well with my spirit. You know, if I had a girlfriend from Chicago, her name was Renita, and then you was married to Rihanna, I wouldn't make no song called Riri. So when you're like, oh, I don't know where it come from, you too smart for that, bro. You know where that come from. Don't make no record with nothing that could be confused. Now, I told you, I didn't tell Pusha no information about your baby mama, nothing like that. That ain't come from me. But when you played that record for me in the studio that said, yo, we got some Kylies, we got some Kendalls, told you Travis is your man, don't make no record like that. That man just had a baby with her. That's going to be offensive. That's going to be offensive to her. I hit Trav about the Ecstasy record and made sure that we was all good, that we know we family, right? So I did tell you not to do that. So period, it's like, don't speak on nobody from my family, nothing that could be even mentioned with my wife, period. We don't have to talk again. I'm not giving no energy to that. Nick Cannon, Drake, Tyson Beckford, all that wasn't sitting right with me.
A couple of months later, on December 13th, 2018, Drake's team allegedly reached out to Kanye to clear the track Say What's Real, which is a track from So Far Gone. This was rumored to be for the re-release of Drake's So Far Gone mixtape to streaming services for the 10-year anniversary. Ye took to Twitter to post a photo of the alleged clearance request and wrote, "This proves faker than wrestling." After this, Ye got pissed and would go on another tirade on Twitter aimed at Drake. Still need that apology for mentioning the 350s and trying to take food out of your idol's kid's mouth. Been trying to meet with you for 6 months. Bro, you sneak dissing on Trav Records and texting Chris about how's the family. I told you, I ain't tell Pusha about your son. It's all love, bro, but don't play with me. You stay too close to be playing all these industry games. Sending purple emojis when I'm dealing with mental. I need my apologies now. Not through Scooter either, not through Travis. The purple emojis Ye is referring to goes back to his interview in August where he said Drake sent him purple emojis.
They come to your house and be around your family and this and that, and then they get mad about a beat and then send you purple demon emojis. And it's like, what I was saying earlier is like,
I don't play like that. I don't play in that place. I don't understand that when I'm saying
Drake would respond to this interview that August, posting a Polaroid of himself putting a purple demon emoji in the caption as a troll to Kanye. This ain't about who could pay to have something done to somebody. This is man to man, bro. This been bothering me too long. Stop this already, bro. You getting people hurt out here, and over what? Buying first 2 rows at Push's show got me hot, bro. Later that night, Drake allegedly would call Kanye up, so Kanye would take to Twitter confirming this, saying, Drake finally called. Mission accomplished. Then Ye would backpedal when he still didn't clear Drake's song. By the way, not cleared, with a laughing emoji. Drake would respond on IG with a bunch of laughing emojis on his story. Later that night, Kanye tweeted claiming that Drake threatened him, saying, Drake called trying to threaten me. Since the pool line, he's been trying to poke at me and me. So Drake, if anything happens to me or anyone from my family, you are the first suspect, so cut the tough talk. He running around like he Pac. He be texting people I know like it's cool, but won't sit down and talk with me. You pick on people with mental health issues. When I go through he fucks with me, and I'm his idol. When Cudi was in the hospital, he sent shots. Now he's so street. I'm the guy with the pink polo that made a way for him. There would never be a Drake without a Kanye West, so never come out of your mouth with a threat. You trying to be a bully? I never bullied in my life, and I never will be. That's why I made it this far in a pink polo. We both too high profile for you to actually do something to me. You ain't never been easy. I navigated these waters before you. That's why you could be you. You try to pick targets you think are easy. Talk tough to real gangsters, bro. You say all this shit to me, but won't say none of that to Jay Prince. You send emojis. I'm up for talking. We need to show all of these fans that black men can talk without someone ending up dead or in jail. How you gonna be on Trav's song coming at me? Trav should have never allowed that. How you gonna text Chris but not speak to me? This is for No One Entertainment or the Mandingo part of Django. Drake, I'm not gonna physically fight you like it's MTV boxing. Never threaten North, Saint, and Chicago's dad, bro. You're mad at me for something I didn't do? I would never mention your blank. I'm Ye, bro. Remember that I love you. I would never intentionally hurt you. That's what I've been trying to say to you. This year has been really tough, and you have added to the confusion. Leave me and my family alone, bro. Kanye would then throw Travis Scott in the mix for allowing Drake to diss him on Sicko Mode. He passes Drake's The Crib every day. To the right, it's on site. Saint stays to the right. This clout done got out of hand, bro. Trav is my family, and let this man throw sneak disses at me for clout. I heard Drake had more bars dissing me that were removed. I used to bring Travis with me everywhere. I'm an inspiration to both him and Drake. Try to kick me while I'm down. Our brother is lost and confused. If Drake would go at Ye, that there is interviews that he loves me, he doesn't give a f about anyone. You try to hurt my pockets. You threaten the safety of me and my family. No more fake people playing with people's lives, kids, and mental health. After this, Kanye claimed that Travis Scott had now contacted him, allegedly threatening him, saying, I hit Trav earlier today. Now he just hit me. More threats. Drake called me threatening me. Fast forward the next year on February 13th, 2019, on the 10-year anniversary of So Far Gone, it would be re-released to streaming services, and Kanye would end up clearing the track. Drake would actually thank Kanye on IG, at Kanye West. A decade ago, I rapped over your beat because you just made the best shit. And even though you stay wildin' on Twitter these days, I will never forget what you contributed to the game and my career. On May 26th, 2019, it was announced that Kanye is banned from saying Drake's name when he would go on to say, an artist which I will not mention because I am not allowed to mention him or any of his family members. Well, we had a little beef last year. Later that year, in October of 2019, Kanye did an interview with Zane Lowe where he revealed that he had been leaving notes at Drake's doorstep with his new number on it in hopes of a reconciliation. On December 25th, Drake did his infamous Rap Radar interview where he spoke on Kanye, saying that Ye is his favorite artist all around and says that he's not open to communicating with him like that. Drake also mentioned how he dissed Ye on Sicko Mode.
But would you be open to communication?
No, not really, because it's not on my end. I have no problem with any of these guys. I don't even know these guys like that.
Then Drake also said that Kanye is done making secular music.
If he's ever going to make like secular music again, or not, I don't know which one is non-secular, secular.
Ye would respond 5 days later on December 30th, 2019, saying that he takes offense to anyone calling him secular.
I'm gonna take offense somebody calling me secular. Y'all could call, you know what I'm saying? Y'all could look at the domes that we was building, affordable homes, y'all call that bizarre. Y'all can take the picture of me painted in silver, y'all can call that what y'all want. But don't call me secular. Cause secular is trying to say that I do anything for anyone other than Christ. That's where they got it messed up.
Fast forward to January 21st, 2020, a track that Kanye recorded called Wait for God ended up leaking, and it was recorded in late 2018 during the tipping point in his feud with Drake. On this track, Ye reflects on his past issues with Drake when he says that God was playing tricks on him by moving the biggest rapper in the world 4 blocks down from him.
He funny though. He gonna move the #1 rapper 4 blocks down the street from him.
On the third verse, Ye says that he saw a light-skinned dude on a skateboard and thought it was Drake.
A tall, light-skinned dude with a beard. I said that looked like Drake right there.
Ye closes out the verse saying that he said on his first album that he's gonna make sure that light-skinned dudes never come back in style, which is a clear shot at Drake.
I said on my first album, I'm gonna make sure light-skinned don't never come back in style.
After that, the beef would go quiet for the remainder of 2020, and in 2021 is when the beef would be reignited fully. Throughout 2021, Drake was gearing up to drop his 6th album, Certified Lover Boy. Ye was also dropping his album, Donda, around the same time. In July of 2021, Kanye had the first listening party for his upcoming album at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. After the listening party, Ye was supposed to drop the album, but he didn't, and this would begin one of the most legendary album rollouts in hip-hop history. Ye actually lived inside the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, allegedly paying $1 million a day to do so while working on Donda. On August 5th, the second Donda listening party took place in the stadium. Kanye would once again push Donda back, so now fans began to speculate that he was pushing back Donda to actually mess with Drake's summer release for Certified Lover Boy. Drake himself would also feel this way and would take to wax to air this out. On August 21st, 2021, Trippie Redd dropped his album Trip at Night, and on this album was a track called Betrayal featuring Drake. And on his verse, Drake would respond to Kanye allegedly trying to step on his release date once again when he said this.
All these fools I'm beefing that I barely know. 45, 44, let it go. You ain't changing for me, it's set in stone.
Kanye, of course, heard this, so he would take to his Instagram shortly after and crashed out by posting Drake's address of his home in Toronto. Ye would then put Drake in an iMessage group chat where he added Pusha T, sending a picture of the Joker saying, "I live for this. I've been with by jock dudes like you my whole life. You will never recover. I promise you." Drake clapped back by posting a video on IG, just laughing the situation off. On August 29th, 2021, Kanye finally dropped his 10th studio album, Donda, and 5 days later, on September 3rd, Drake dropped his album, Certified Lover Boy. And on the track 7 AM on Bridal Path, which Bridal Path being where his mansion is in Toronto, which Kanye leaked, on this track, Drake would diss Kanye.
The first second they speak to me, I'm not with all the secrecy, secretly beefing me behind closed doors.
The next day, on September 4th, 2021, Drake took to SiriusXM to leak a track called Life of the Party by Kanye featuring Andre 3000. Now, this track was originally supposed to be on Donda, but didn't make the final cut. On the track itself, Kanye actually dissed Drake.
y'all we was the new Abu Dhabi. Told Drake don't play with me on GD, and he sent that message to everybody.
After leaking the track, Drake updated his recent IG caption to waste removal, implying that he took out the trash by leaking the record. That day, Andre 3000 would release a statement saying that there wasn't a Drake diss on Life of the Party when he did his verse, and he didn't like that he was involved in this beef. Andre would also state that he would like Kanye to take him off the track or release a different version. Quote, "A few weeks ago, Kanye reached out about me being a part of the Donda album. I was inspired by his idea to make a musical tribute to his mom. It felt appropriate to me to support the Donda concept by referencing my own mother, who passed away in 2013. We both share that loss. I thought it was a beautiful choice to make a clean album, but unfortunately, I didn't know that that was the plan before I wrote and recorded my verse. It was clear to me that an edited, clean format of the verse would not work without having the raw original also available. So sadly, I had to be omitted from the original album release. The track I received and wrote to didn't have the diss verse on it, and we were hoping to make a more focused offering for the Donda album, but I guess things happen like they are supposed to. It's unfortunate that it was released in this way, and two artists that I love are going back and forth. I want it to be on Certified Lover Boy too. I just want to work with the people that inspire me. Hopefully, I can work with Kendrick on his album. I love to work with Lil Baby, Tyler, and Jay-Z. I respect them all." So Ye changed his verse and released the track officially on the deluxe version of Donda. Fast forward a couple of months later, on November 9th, 2021, Kanye posted a video alongside Jay Prince where Kanye would ask Drake to come and perform with him at the Free Larry Hoover show in Los Angeles to put their differences aside. The proceeds of the show would go towards freeing Larry Hoover, who was a gang member known for allegedly founding the Chicago street gang called the Gangster Disciples, aka GDs. Drake agreed to do the show for Larry Hoover, and eventually a photo surfaced of Drake, Kanye, and Jay Prince together at Drake's mansion in Toronto on November 16th. So thanks to Jay Prince, this beef was squashed. On December 7th, 2021, Drake and Ye performed at the Free Larry Hoover concert for the first time since OVO Fest in 2016. So after this, it finally seemed that this beef was finally squashed. On October 15th, 2022, Kanye appeared on Drink Champs where he would speak on Drake, calling him the greatest rapper ever, and imply that Drake allegedly hooked up with Kris Jenner.
Drake is the greatest rapper ever.
And you said,
and I don't apologize about it.
You said in war he helped your baby's mother's mother?
Yeah, that was hard. That was hard.
Yeah, I was like, what's going on? What does that mean? What does that mean? Yeah, I mean, it's like we was confused.
You know what it means. So,
on November 4th, 2022, Drake and 21 Savage dropped their collab album, Her Loss. And on the track Circo Loco, Drake says that he only squashed the beef with the ops, of course the ops being Kanye, for Jay Prince. And he did it for his mob ties with Prince.
Linking with the ops, I did shit for Jay Prince. I did it for the mob ties.
Ye caught wind of this, he took to Twitter to clap back at Drake. Enough already. I done gave this man his flowers multiple times. Let's see who our real ops in this music game are. Imagine all the rappers on the same side and everyone cleaning up each other's contracts. It's kingdom time. Love Drake. Hashtag love speech. Fast forward to April 7th, 2023, Drake dropped a track called Search and Rescue. And it's believed that throughout the track, Drake was actually allegedly flirting with Kim Kardashian. The cover art is a direct diss at Kanye because Drake and an unknown female are wearing biker helmets similar to a photo taken of Kanye and Kim wearing biker helmets. In August of 2023, Drake was performing live on his It's All a Blur tour where he would interact with a fan in the crowd saying that he looks cool even though he has Yeezys on.
My man, I like the fitted hat with the blue tee. Yeah, I feel you, dog. You look good. Even though you got those Yeezys on, you still look good.
Fast forward to November 17th, 2023, Drake dropped the Scary Hours edition of his album For All the Dogs. On the track Red Button, Drake calls out Kanye.
Every time they Yeezy called the truth, he had my head inflated. Thinking we gon' finally piece it up, realize that everything premeditated.
The next year, in April of 2024, Drake was embroiled in his beef with Kendrick Lamar after Kendrick dissed him on the track Like That with Future and Metro Boomin. On April 21st, 2024, Kanye decided to drop a remix version of Like That, where he would diss Drake throughout his verse. Ye premiered the track on the Download podcast.
Where's Lucien? Serve your master. You caught a little bag for your masters, didn't you?
During the podcast, he would explain how the track came about. Future called me and I went to the studio and laid that. We went through the creative process of adding the chords and called the hooligans out in London to get on the joint. Everybody was very, very energized about the elimination of Drake. On August 3rd, 2024, Ye and Ty Dolla $ign dropped their album Vultures 2. And on the track 530, Ye took shots at Drake and Kim. This line was originally for the promo video for his project War on his YouTube video called Last Week.
You don't really love Ye, go listen to Drake.
Later that month, on August 23rd, Ye and Ty Dolla $ign were in South Korea at their Vultures 2 listening experience. And before playing his track I Wonder, he would dedicate it to Drake.
This one for Drake.
On October 4th, 2024, Kanye was performing in China, where he would thank Drake for writing the chorus for his track Yikes. After that, things went quiet and nothing has been said since. From the way things have been going, I don't expect to see Drake and Kanye being close ever again. So there you have it, the many beefs of Kanye West. If you want to watch the uncut version, make sure to head over to my Patreon. The link will be in the description. I appreciate all the support.